Date is the evening of the 9th of Nim, year of our kingdom 998. The weather, well, it's late, so there's that cold that comes from being near the water, and it's a nice contrast to the warmth of the evening air. And my situation, I'm heading back to the Gold Dragon after spending the evening speaking with the champion at the Temple of Regalport. It's all over, isn't it? The death, the mystery, the intrigue, the unknowns, they've all been resolved. Mysteries overturned, answers found, criminals convicted. So, it's over, isn't it? But it isn't. Not really. The past few weeks we spent living with these murders hanging over our heads won't just disappear now that we know who's committed them. Certainly for Tarek Elam, it's not over. He still waits in gentle repose for those who will attempt to tame the powers of resurrection and bring him back to this world. Neither for him nor his beloved, who labors on in silence to wrangle magic and money and manpower, is this situation over. For those who have died and have no chance of resurrection, well, it's not over for those who hold them dear. Grief, pain, anger, esoteric questions as to why they will linger. Even for the criminal, it's not over. Far from it. He must spend the next 100 years in the solitude of prison. The effects of his actions will linger and etch themselves deep into his bones. Others who have aided in the event, too, will linger on their actions. Staff from the Grand Auction Hall lose their livelihoods. Secret Islay serving penance on the seas. The temple with one less acolyte to tend to it. It's not really over, is it? And I don't think it ever will be. Even for me, it isn't really over. I am beset with new fears, new challenges, new nightmares. That was surprising. Up until mere days ago, all of my dreams were memories, hazy or horrifyingly clear. But they were memories of things that I do or don't remember. And now I have new nightmares. For the new horrors I have experienced at the hands of Wilfred Bartosz. It was unexpected, in a way. I wasn't as involved with the investigation as Audrey or N. That sort of logical thinking and detective work is not my strong suit, after all. My suit is strength. And that wasn't enough to stop myself from falling victim to him. I was touched by his evil, and I am left with scars. New pains, new nightmares, new emptiness. I will address it, as I do with all my aches. Pains must be tended to, lest it warp into something worse. I have experience enough to know this. And I have new hands to aid me, a champion to guide my next few steps. It's not over for N, far from it, as for them it all seems to be a beginning. The beginning of a strong relationship with Madani, one that I hope they will nurture. They've cut down the first of their weeds, reaffirming their quest for retribution. Wolfit's capture, Reedfoot's execution, the destroyed pin, the slumbering tyrant. No for N. Over is not a word even near to what they have. And Willow. Who knows what pains still linger in their mind, or behind their shades. They spent more time with the killer than any of us, spent time in his company, pretending to be comfortable, pliable. That alone is reason enough for concern. They're addled, and the causes are countless. The murder of a countryman, the investigation that went awry, impending conversations with dragon slayers, or lingering aches from pains inflicted by one-armed men. It's not over. Not for them at all. It's not over for any of us.
So, let's assess the damage. Wilfred Bartosz was the killer. 12 victims, including Tarek Elham, and I would have been the 13th, though technically Luca was well on his way to cutting in line. Evidently, we are both still alive, so Wilfred failed. But if it is any consolation to the newest person in Greentown to hate my guts, I am not leaving Regalport with any profound sense of victory either. After all, A draw is not much of an outcome for a wager, is it? My last conversation with Wilfred was, let's say, unsatisfying. After weeks of attempting to coax the truth out of him, at the end it was a messy clash. His wits were ripped out along with his helm of phantasmagoria, and all his memories of the snapdragons along with it. Bothered, to say the least, by that abysmal interaction and that predictable severance, I then proceeded to his apartment. Broke in through the window and helped myself to his jewelry box, his alcohol cabinet, his bookshelf, and the small cultist pin in his jacket pocket. Magically enchanted so as to maintain the shape of a tragedy mask and melt into silver when its wearer dies. Only members of the cult can hold the silver pin. Turns out, this includes N, who was able to find the magical qualities of the pin that even my best studies could not, and ultimately elected to destroy it. After all, it links to something larger. Much larger, and troubling as that is, it seems that N, at least, has gotten answers. I cannot say the same for myself. All I have are more questions. A broken homunculus, a modified memory, and I cannot shake the feeling that I am being watched and followed. Tarek Elam is still dead, the mysteries of Regalport still lurk, the threat of the cult still lingers. And all the while I have not forgotten that beyond the enemies I have just made are the ones I had already, looming on the horizon. Here's the point where I say something like, it is difficult, but it is not impossible to solve what mysteries remain. What's done is done is done is done, which is a pity, seeing as it is not done at all. The work continues until I find my answers. And I told Damon I'd help him save his brother. I can't speak for the other two, but while these past few weeks have reaped little by way of tangible results, Damon has been indispensable, from his begrudging insights to listening to me whinge about my petty problems. In fact, the entire crew behaved brilliantly. There is no doubting the impact that the team's efforts made in helping keep Regalport safe. I just don't feel it.
I finally know my eye's origin. The slumbering tyrant, the giant beholder sleeping under Sharn. Some would find this revelation shocking, but over the course of the last few months, I've come to terms with the idea that the eye's root was something terrifying. So when the eye approached me to ask if this tyrant business changes things between us, all I could do was shrug it off. I'd been prepared for this, so we stayed the course. Sure, we don't know what this tyrant or its emissary might do to us, but at least now we know what we're preparing to fight. Together. We're in this together. And we're going back to Sharn. I think that's what troubles me more. I've had plenty of time to accept that a strange creature lives inside my head. In fact, by this point, I'd cobbled together a comforting fairy tale about it. That I was carrying the danger solely on my shoulders, and as long as I remained isolated, no one would get hurt. It's the knowledge that the real monster, the real devastation, is left behind, sleeping under Sharn, out of my reach. That's what keeps me awake now. That can't stay there. So we have to go back, which is also why I had to destroy the silver pin. Courtesy of Willow's sticky fingers, I held Warfred's snapdragon pin the other day. Something of a miracle, really. Apparently not only is this pin designed to melt when the owner dies, but it melts in the hands of anyone who isn't part of the snapdragon circle. And yet when I held it, it stayed whole. So as far as an indiscriminate pin is concerned, I'm seeking true beauty, have been fundamentally changed into one of the cult's flesh and blood. I'm fine with that. There's one thing I know, it's that a rat can be far more destructive than a battering ram. Unfortunately, as I said, the pin had to be destroyed. It acts as some kind of abstract surveillance device. Like a stream, I felt it pulling whatever it experienced back to a central hub. I'm going to assume the tyrant, or maybe some sort of collective unconscious. It's difficult to put what I felt into words. Regardless, possession of the pin meant we were being watched. I can't say for certain who watched, or even how the information is being gathered and interpreted, but what I can say is that feeding my experiences to anything belonging to the Snapdragons is out of the question. Not only would that give them forewarning of my approach and my plans, it would mean access to Willow and Luca's struggles as well. Nauseating. I will not be a breach. Ridding ourselves of the pin was the best option. Allowing the Snapdragons of all people to dream of us is not worth any paltry advantage. I'll find other ways to mess with them, identify them, ruin them. I don't need their toys. Fuck 'em.
Oh, you. God. Guys.
Throws everyone in the bin.
So, dawn breaks over the Crown Bay. After almost 3 weeks of being in Regalport, the crew is finally returning back to the village of Salvage. We pan over the busy morning of checking out and getting your affairs settled up before seeing you step foot onto the ferry headed back that way in the late morning. Luca and Audrey, you have been paid appropriately for your time as freelancers under Brina, and any bartering or shopping you want to have done in the city is concluded. So, if there's any trinkets you want to sell or trade for money, we have already done that on your way out.
Nice.
As you file in to find your seats on the ferry, you spot the figure of Damon reclining against a railing rather than cramming himself onto one of the benches. He gives you a nod of acknowledgement as you make eye contact.
Where's he going?
Presumably to Salvage.
Yeah.
This is a one-way kind of vessel.
Yeah.
Why?
The end's going to approach him instead of whispering. Hey, stranger, where are you going so early in the morning?
Early in the morning, I thought it was like 10 a.m.
I don't know, what's early for you, Night Owl?
I'll be heading over to that little fishing village as a stopping point before heading upriver to look for some monster hunting jobs. Probably in the hills.
Ah, right.
Upriver.
Nothing in the Port Authority catching your eye?
Nah. That's sort of, I'm looking for something a little more immediate, you know?
A little more... And lowers her voice. Dragon-sized?
Nothing that big, but
Oh,
bigger than, let's say, some oversized crabs.
Right. I'll be curious to see what you can bring back.
I'm sure you'll be the first to know.
I sure hope so.
Anyway, I'm going to be staying at the Gold Dragon, so don't worry. I won't get in your way.
Let's see how you could. And
He
peers
gives you a nod.
over towards Willow and Luca, like, am I having a one-on-one conversation with this man, or...
I imagined Will nearby, though I think Willow is going to glance at Luca and see if he was listening in, because I know that Willow was probably standing close enough to listen. They would have given him like a general nod.
Yeah.
They were
I'm
Mick
not
drinking with him
sure.
last night after all.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, Luca, if you weren't listening, Willow would have nudged you and been like, yo, this is your plan that they are discussing. If you want to sidle on over and open your ears, but depends on your vibes. I didn't get a good read of your vibes, so I'm just nudging you anyway.
No, I don't think Luca's paying attention to Damon's business.
Or business asshole?
I think Willow is being the connective tissue between Luca standing weirdly at bay and you guys, because at least I don't need to stand near Damon for him to know we're cool. You know, yeah, it's just a distant kind of wave.
It's the energy of seeing somebody you know at the shops, but like you don't have to have an interaction. You're just like, yeah, I acknowledge your presence and
Yeah.
see ya.
Yeah.
You and N can sort like we're comfortably around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or some of us, looking at Luca, who's...
Luca seems like he doesn't really care about Damon right now. Damon's not a
Yeah,
priority.
but that's still an awkward thing. All things considered.
Well, with that conversation concluded, and you guys don't seem to want to step in, and will wave off from Damon unless he has something else he wants to say to them.
Nope.
And return to their group.
All good.
And probably tell them the short of it. Damon's coming to stay in Salvage, and then he's gonna run off into the wilderness to find us a monster to beat up.
Willow taps their ears like, don't worry, I was eavesdropping.
I know you are, but... Some
I'm
of
glad
us...
he's taking it seriously.
Yeah, it's a good
There is
thing.
the tense side glance of Willow, glancing at Luca and remembering that just last night they were like, I'm going to help you save your brother, Damon, and the rest of the team will come around. Glances at Luca, I think.
And just
But no,
looks,
not come around, just like, you know.
looks flatly at Luca, pats his arm as they pass by to go sit somewhere.
Yeah. In that case, we
I'll just-
flash forward to... Unless you want to talk.
I think we're good. Just a cursory nod at Damon before I go and have a poignant gaze out at the impending salvage. Or the departing Regalport. I don't know where I'm at currently.
And swap sides.
Yep.
Mhm.
In that case, we flash forward to you all arriving in Salvage. Mid to late morning.
Wow.
It's not the same fanfare as when you returned on the scrap bucket after your adventures out at sea, but it is welcoming nevertheless. I don't know if any of you guys sent word ahead that you would be arriving today, or if it's a
Probably not.
surprise.
Yeah, Luca specifically wasn't going to send a letter to Elsa, so it was a surprise, unless that's changed.
No, I think Luca's eager for the
Mhm.
feeling of being welcomed home.
Okay.
Aw.
Let's just say.
In that case, what would you like to do?
Going home. Straight home.
Okay.
No thoughts.
You going... Okay, you singing straight home?
Yeah, what's
Oh,
Willow?
unless you guys are like,
Yeah, what's Willow doing?
yeah.
Willow's probably going to also go home. Just
Okay.
kind of dawdling off the ferry. Is Damon going to just like peace out immediately?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Unless
Okay.
you want to talk
Well-
to him.
I don't have anything of note to say right now. I think we did a lot of chatting last night. A lot of
Yeah.
chatting.
Yeah.
Not anything
Yep.
deep, probably just like dwindled into... I think Willow would have told him about the barrow, like finally,
Yeah. Yeah.
because he
Okay.
mentioned... Yeah. And just other things, just other cursory, mindless things, not to do with the case, just kind of like
Gotcha.
fun facts devolving
Yeah.
into what other beasts have you kicked the head off, you know?
Yeah.
And whatnot. Yeah.
I guess you better go
Whining
home,
about
make sure
whiskey.
your ship is still intact, and Bruno knows you're not dead.
All
We informed him, yes?
special-
You
special
did.
friends are accounted for.
Yes, I keep saying it out loud. That's... Willow had that dawning like panic of like, wait a minute, Bruno knows, right? Because last time I spoke to him, it was, I'm taking the day off tomorrow, and that turned into 3 weeks.
I am.
But no,
I am
Elsa
sure
reminded
you
him.
sent.
Elsa reminded him.
you-
I didn't
You-
send.
you've-
Elsa said, yeah.
Yes.
I asked Elsa
You
to
sent
please tell
Elsa.
him, and came back and saw that he put a sign on my door. But Willow just has that like grips legs. Wait, I didn't tell my boss I was going on leave.
It's like I forgot to submit my leave form.
You did.
Hi, a countryman died. No, okay. Yeah, no. Willow's like, I'll check my boat.
Okay. In that
Right.
case, let's follow Luca and N back to the Nodding Poppy. It has been 3
Two
weeks since you
Too
were
many
last here.
Yeah. Bizarre.
Yeah. I think there are a couple other people here who, like, there's a few familiar faces of, like, people who help out with Elsa from time to time, who as soon as Luca, you arrive there, like, she's in the office. You can, do you want me to tell her, or?
No. I'll tell her. Thank you.
Okay. And then just a mere, like, 10 minutes later, Elsa comes out and sees you and exclaims in delight, Luca, N! Oh, it's
Hey,
good to see you.
long time no
And I will
see.
go and scoop her up in a
Yeah.
hug.
Yeah, I think Anne, like, purposefully steps aside to let Luca pass.
Yeah.
Aw.
Yeah, big twirly hug with Elsa, who sort of like holds your face and kisses your forehead. I'm glad to see you again.
That feeling is incredibly mutual.
Oh, come in. Let's put on some tea. I'm sure you must be very weary. You are welcomed back into the Nodding Poppy. Obviously, it's still the middle of the day, but it's close enough to lunch that things have slowed a little bit, and you have some time to sort of chatter amongst yourselves and get situated back in.
Yeah.
Elsa assumes that you must be very tired after being away for so long. She had time to make your beds in your absence, but it's been a
Aw.
week or so since she last changed the sheets. Is that all right? And
Oh, trust me, it's more than all right for me.
yeah,
I've slept on worse.
Yeah.
yeah,
I feel like it's been so long since N had Elsa tea that they just kind of melts into it when they finally get their hands on it. There's something
Yeah.
comforting, soothing about it.
Mhm.
yeah. There's some bread and jam set out for like a little late morning snack, and you chatter about what all has happened. It's a lot of Elsa telling you sort of the bits of what all has happened in the village. Somebody's had a baby, that sort of thing.
Aw.
Like, just you it's like sinking into a hot
Yeah.
bath after a long day and just being like,
Yes.
the peace and like comfort of Salvage.
It's so different from the Regalport news and the hustle and bustle of solving a murder for the
Yeah,
last 3 weeks.
Living in a
Yep.
hotel feels so sterile
yeah,
compared to home.
yeah. You can put your shoes by the door, and yeah, it's nice to be back in a place that truly does feel like home. You maybe hadn't realized how much you'd missed it until you got back. I think this is specifically for N.
Yeah.
You like it
So-
here.
Yeah. So yeah.
Oh.
That's your sort of morning, and I think you probably like spend the rest of the day sort of getting situated back into things. I imagine, Luca, you are keen to like immediately get back to helping out around the house.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want a home
Even if-
to
if-
take care of.
Even
I
if
want a home
Elsa, even if Elsa is like, "Oh no, you can rest," you're like, "No, I want to do this," and she,
Shoulders his way in. Like,
Yep.
my
Absolutely.
job now.
please.
It's like a jock with a feather duster. Slams a sponge into the sink.
Yeah,
Give me dishes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like Anne returns to their little room that
Yeah.
feels like an eternity since they've been back there. It's just kind of a moment
Oh,
of getting reacquainted with it
Yeah.
and kind of unpacking some of their stuff and checking that their other stuff is still there, the stuff that they left in the
Yep.
drawers and probably under the bed because they're a gremlin.
Yeah, I think give me a perception check.
Okay.
Everything's
Okay,
still
great.
there.
Cool. Cursory look and drop my stuff off, and it feels nice to actually be able to drop my stuff off and not think I have to carry everything on me everywhere I go.
Yeah, you can finally unpack. You feel like you're finally not living out of a suitcase.
Yeah. Isn't an uncommon feeling, but it does feel like home. Be able to just dump it.
Yeah. There's something very special about like coming home after a long journey and being like, my bed. Flump.
Yes. And does probably just face plant into the bed, even though it's the middle of the day, just to reacquaint
Just
themselves.
to relax.
Yeah.
A 20-minute lie down to organize your thoughts, if not your things, is
not a crime.
Well afforded. Yeah. Also, like, the pace of Salvage is so much slower than Regalport. Like,
yeah.
People do, like, 3 things a day, and that's it.
That's like what I used to cram into an hour.
Yeah.
I'm 3 people in an hour, says Zen.
Yeah, so life moves fast for a changeling.
Yeah. Well, you finally get a chance to slow down and relax.
Yeah.
Luca, do you want to cover anything, or?
I think whatever Luca might think to cover goes out his brain the second he's home.
Yeah.
And just resumes his usual routine.
Yeah.
I want to cover this mattress, this table.
Yeah.
Luca
oh my god, I've missed
doing
this
linen
cover.
work. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love these
I've
doilies.
missed this candle specifically.
Yeah.
Oh.
You get to, like, greeting people, patients who are, like, here for a checkup or here for whatever minor complaint, and sort of immediately fall into the rhythm of being Elsa's assistant again.
Yes.
Like, as good as you are at being a bodyguard and all that, you feel a greater sense of fulfillment from, like, being a clinic staff member.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's been a while, and you get to, like, small talk with various people who come in and out, and chat with Elsa, and just immediately settle into things.
Yeah.
In that case, we cut away from the Lightning Puppy to go back to Willow as you approach the scrap bucket, also known as the Jenkins Workshop.
I do imagine that. I think Willow had to sort of fight the urge to just follow one of the others, like to just kind of tag along, or maybe even catch up with Damon. Like there was that sense of like, oh, I should catch up with one of the crew, but they're like, no, we're back in Salvage. Salvage is safe. That is one of the main things that Willow has always said. That Salvage is always slow and safe, so I should feel safe here. So I think they're kind of like forcing themselves, challenging themselves to walk back to their boat alone, because that's normal. And it's good to be normal in this regard. Right? I think? Yeah. It's that kind of like intense, I'm so fine walk.
Yeah.
Back.
I'm being so normal about this.
Look at me swinging my legs right now. Could a horrified person do this? Saunters, you know, like that's what their vibe is. So yeah.
I mean, you also hear like the familiar sounds of the dry docks, the clanging of hammers, the creaking of rope and sail and wood, the smells of Salvage, your favorite bakery around the corner, the sounds of familiar voices, because you have lived here for quite some time. as much as of a hermit as you are, there is a familiarity, and like even if you are not necessarily on speaking terms with everybody in Salvage, there's like a friendly acknowledgement of passing people you recognize and who recognize you either because you've worked with them or done repairs for them or just have been in the general area.
I do think that Willow's got their like hands in their pockets, and as they're focusing on all the details you mentioned, their eyes sort of close. So they're sort of walking blind at the moment.
Yeah.
Just sort of soaking fully back into what the Salvage feels like.
Yeah.
Which is how it's always been with them.
Yeah. You wind your way back to your little sailing boat by almost instinct alone. And then you open your eyes and see that there has been a gone fishing sign stuck up on the front door with a subheading that any persons looking for magical repairs should talk to Bruno Saltbeard in the interim, along with a stuffed mailbox.
Stuffed?
Yeah.
I only just installed that. Willow opens their eyes expecting it to be like that final like of home, and then it's like, huh? What's all this? So head
Well,
tilt
do you
at
want to
the
look?
sign. Oh well.
Yeah.
Head tilt at the sign, which they will look at closely. Does this look like it's a sign? Did Bruno write it?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, that makes Willow smile. Like he didn't make it. He might have made it.
Yeah,
like
he's
he
a
made
carpenter.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's plenty of like pre-existing gone fishing signs for various people around Salvage, but Bruno did append the specific note of like, if you need anything, there's some makeshift solutions.
Yeah. Oh. Okay, that's cute. And then dun dun the freaking mailbox.
Yeah.
I think I've always imagined the mailbox as kind of one of those. It's shaped like the file. No, it's kind of like a mailbox, but I feel like it can detach.
Yeah. It's like
So
a little
just-
basket that you basically hang on the outside that has like a latch to keep things dry.
Yeah.
And it is just crammed full of like paper.
Okay. Okay, look, Willow's just going to. I think they're going to carry the whole thing inside.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Do you leave the gone fishing sign up, or do you take it down?
I'll leave it up for now.
Makes sense.
But I think Willow's going to open the door to their boat and then like leave it open so that as much light gets in as possible. It's bathed in light, but
yeah,
I imagine it's dusty when they walk in too.
It's a little bit dusty. It does smell like nobody's been in here for a few weeks, which...
Well, that's a relief.
Yeah, everything is... Well, actually, give me a perception check.
Yeah, I was going to also do a detect... I'll just exhaust a spell slot quickly to do a detect magic.
I mean, if you want to just do it as a ritual, you can. Unless you are specifically doing it quick because of feelings. But
yeah,
certainly you are at a pace there. It's easy. Okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah. So perception?
Yes, please.
Oof.
Okay, yeah, you can you rub a finger along a windowsill and see exactly the amount of dust that would have been accrued in 3 weeks' time of absence.
Okay.
Everything is left completely the way that you had left it in the first place. There's whatever bric-a-brac you left on desks and so on. I think at most you can see that maybe Bruno has like cleared, or somebody has cleared away any like loose ropes and made sure like nothing is being washed overboard
Mm.
on the outside of the deck, but other than that, same as it ever was.
Chessboards on the table.
Yep.
That aged. And my detect magic obviously detects nothing in the room.
Nothing new. Only
new.
stuff that you'd already had in place. The automatic door, the bell.
Okay. Start unloading all of my stuff. I guess. Willow's keeping the door open again to and probably will open the windows.
Mm-hmm.
And just kind of settle themselves in their room, place down the mailbox, the whole mailbox that they're just dislodged from the front, like, please stop sending me mail. So that, taking off their little vest thing. Just finding their way around the house, unpacking.
Yep.
Quick cursory look downstairs would have been in my perception check to make sure, no one's here.
Yeah.
Just my little elemental. My elemental's still here, which I
Yep.
can detect from a distance, I'm assuming, because of my spell. Okay. Just gonna settle in the middle of my boat and my hands on my hips and... I guess I better tackle that mailbox. I don't want to. Looks at that mailbox. Guess I better tackle that. Starts taking things out of their pocket and putting their sword on the table. Sword goes on the table. Friggin', oh god, just keep digging as Warfred's art book. Warfred's mail also goes on, I think, just on the chair. We're just kind of dragging everything out. What else did I get?
You get so productive when you don't want to do something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything but this.
Yeah. What else did we get from that case? Well, not much, actually. I just had a whole whinge about this, didn't I?
Yeah.
All my stolen stuff.
You have the remains of Fish Dog.
Oh,
that
yeah,
needs to be
dump
repaired.
those on the table.
Yeah.
Knocks the chessboard a little bit. It's like a piece gets knocked over. I did have 25 gold that I retrieved from the bank before we came back. That's nice.
Yep.
From the Gilded Brush as recompense for the attempted murder. That's solid.
Yeah.
Newspapers. Not the poetry book. I think when Willow feels that they grabbed the Tarek's poetry book, they stop unpacking. And now it's time to avoid that by looking at their mail.
Yep.
So, yep.
Give
Now
me
that we
an
can look at the mail.
investigation check.
Yep. If I can just keep finding things to avoid, then maybe I can get stuff done. Sweet.
Wow.
Okay. You leaf through your mail. A lot of it is not even in envelopes. It's just a folded up piece of paper from somebody who is in the neighborhood that's hey Jenkins, this and this is broken. When you get back, can you take a look at it? Or, hey Jenkins, the hinge has fallen off again, and I don't know what to do about it. Can you take a look at it? Or, Jenkins, let me know when you're back in town. Nobody else can fix this magic lantern, or things like that. But there is one actual enveloped letter that is from Varys Greenleaf.
Oh.
Yeah.
What's the thickness of this letter?
Thin. It's maybe one page.
Okay. Willow holds it up to the light. Just writing?
Looks like it, yeah.
You know what? They better get to that task of stuff that needs doing, right? That huge list of stuff that needs doing. I think that takes precedence over whatever this is, right? It's waited 3 weeks. It can wait another day. Willow's going to put
actually on a 26 investigation. On a 26 investigation, you know that the Varys letter arrived maybe 1 or 2 days ago.
Sucks to suck, except the opposite. You rolled high.
Sucks to win,
rock.
kind of. Yeah. 3 days. Make it 2.5 or 3.5 days. Willow's going to they're placing that by somewhere visible. Let's put it on the chessboard.
Okay.
And they're gonna instead go and get changed.
Yeah.
Out of this
So-
god awful dress shirt. Though I'm
Yeah.
keeping the pants because I don't want to change over the
Pockets.
pockets of holding.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Willow's gonna get
In which
changed into
case-
working clothes.
Yeah. In which case, I think you immediately just start doing house calls for the rest of the day. You're like, okay, everything's still in place. Everything's still in place. I've got a bunch of, let's just go back right to work. I'm done feeling weird and useless. Let's go do some mending cantrips on a bunch of stuff. Give me a Tinker's Tools check.
Oh god. Imagine there was a pause. Willow was going to put their jacket, the searing jacket, back on, and they're like, no. So they drape it over the back of their chair.
Yeah.
And just leave it and leave and
Yeah.
lock the house. So Tinker's Tool.
Oh,
It is slow going. It's not that you like mess anything up. It's just like you don't get a lot done. Is the only thing. So you start off with some very basic stuff, like things that you can do with a mending cantrip. I think like a couple of people who are your regulars just like talk your ear off while you're here. Not about anything really crucial. It's just like gossip and
did you hear about that baby?
I literally,
like,
I was about
yeah.
to say, I think everyone's telling me about the new baby. Did you hear about the new baby? And Willow's like, well, I just heard about it from the last game, but tell me again.
Yeah. It's the new baby, and like somebody like managed to put a fish hook through their finger because they weren't
my
paying
God.
attention, and that was a whole ordeal.
It's so cute.
And there's like an ongoing joke now of like the biggest thing they caught was a man because it's like literally put their own thumb on it.
Oh,
it's good to be back.
Willow laughs. It's so nice that the worst violence that we have had here is literally that goofy shit.
Yeah.
It's nice.
It's just everyday accidents, you know, that sort of thing of like
Yeah.
the worst that has happened is like new baby fish hook through the thumb.
That's the worst.
You can
Turns
hear
out
it
the
crying
most
from
days.
across the village.
Yeah.
All of the neighbors are like, worst, yes. I kind of imagine like Willow's walking their way back across the dry docks to another task.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they're seeking Bruno out, but does he want to? Is he around?
He's
spot
absolutely
them?
around.
Because like I feel like Willow's just kind of power walking from one task to the other.
What's your passive stealth?
Passive stealth.
10 plus
So
your
what's your-
modifier.
My modifier for stealth is 3.
Okay. 13. Okay, so that's the DC to beat.
Oh, Bruno.
I'll roll a dice. Nope.
We cross each other like passing ships.
Yep.
Oh, that's so funny.
Bruno is busy. You're busy. Word will get back to him eventually.
Yeah.
Evening falls.
Did our team make any plans to catch up, or was it just like everyone settle back in?
I think it was
And
everybody
see
settled
when I
back
see
in
you.
and
Yeah.
yeah. You're in the same town now, and it's like it's not that. It takes like 20 minutes tops to go from one end of the village to the other.
Mm.
Yeah. I think in the evening, and probably going to fall into the old routine that they and Luca used to have of doing the dishes together and having talks during that time.
Yeah.
So, and after spending some time just acclimatizing in their room, we'll show up at the kitchen to help with dishes.
Yeah, I think you see Elsa has retired for the evening to read and relax in the living room, and you two are doing the dishes.
Yeah, she can have an early night. Doesn't have to do all the cleanup.
Yeah. Okay. Feel free to talk to each other.
Yeah. And En's got stuff on their mind, but they don't want to jump straight into it.
Luca is so in his element.
Yeah. And just kind of watching him do the dishes at mock speed.
I'm so happy to be doing household chores again.
Oh, it's good to be back, huh?
Yeah. I missed the smell of this dish soap.
Yeah, well, one thing we didn't have to do at the hotel was wash our own dishes, but we also didn't get the same kind of hospitality that the Poppy serves.
I know. The staff here is excellent.
5-star. Better than the Crown.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna make a sneaky little insight check on N.
Right back at you, buddy.
Oh, fuck you. Damn it.
Click. Double damn it. While we're looking at each other. Cannot glean anything.
Seeing nothing.
However, and rolled a nat 20 last time they observed you. So, you were going out a lot there, between the whole situation and the trial. What were you getting up to?
Oh, just visiting the temple. Setting my head straight.
Going to talk to our friend in the basement?
Yeah, actually. Yes.
Oh, he's the fellow seeker, right? He's like the head honcho of the Regalport Seekers.
Luca waves his head sure.
I don't know how
Call
this
him that
hierarchy
if you
works.
want.
I don't understand what the Bloodsworn part really, what the description of that is. Anyway. He gave you some good advice then?
Yes. Excellent. Actually.
No.
You thinking of seeing him again too?
No,
Get some advice?
I think my business with him is more than done. Be worried I'd inspire some feelings that he he was dealing with when he first saw me. You know, the rage. I think it's good if we just maintain a professional distance. I'm joking. I'm sure he's not that bad all the time.
It was an upsetting situation.
It's the only time I saw him, so I'm not really sure what else he's like other than that. So I'm gonna go ahead and assume he gave you advice that wasn't, kill, kill, murder, kill. Or else you wouldn't consider it good advice. If
You never know.
I feel like
Maybe
I have
it
a
was
decent read
A
of your
good murder,
character.
you know?
Yeah, I can think of a few.
Yeah, see? But no, that was not his advice in this instance.
Oh, good. I think we could use a little change of routine now. Did you I mean, you probably talked to Dr. Nereus about what happened, so you don't need to talk to me. But if you wanted to talk to me, I'm all ears about what happened with Warfred. I don't really know what happened to you. And you don't have
Are
to
you
tell
worried
me
about
for my peace of mind. I'm just worried about you.
I think I'll explain to you and Willow what happened, just so everyone is aware.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Might not be the last... Oh, definitely not going to be the last shape changer you run into, but probably not the last one you'll be fighting. Yeah.
That wasn't the issue.
Oh, good. Good to hear it. So, should I go ahead and assume he didn't use my face against you or anything?
Luca smiles and shakes his head.
Alright, I just noticed you kind of flinch away before, so I thought maybe, but... Good.
No. I just... Luca raises a hand and taps it with his other hand.
Yeah. Sure, it was disconcerting, whatever happened. Anyway, yeah, we'll save the conversation for the group if you're comfortable with that.
Thank you for caring about me.
Hey, I didn't give you that coat just for show. I mean, it was half for show, but that was the only way I could think of how to get into that thick skull of yours, and it's gonna reach up and knock on the side of Luca's head.
Luca bends slightly so they can reach.
Oh.
Cute.
Speaking of show, I think our little plan with Willow will have to wait a little bit.
Right. Well, your cue. I'm not going anywhere. Not on my own, anyway.
Good, because I need all three of you.
Oh. I'll make sure to give Kai some notice so he can show up on his best behavior.
This is a test for him, yes. So,
No.
better be good.
Well, then he'll definitely excel. Kai's the way I got through school. He always took all the exams for me.
Does that count as cheating? Is there, when you're in school with other changelings, do you have to prove that you're who you say you are? Or can you take tests for each other?
Oh, we fuck around with each other all the time. That's just kid stuff.
But say if Willow was a changeling, could they change into you and do your maths homework test? Because they're better at it than us?
They could try. Yeah, we'll get in trouble if we're found out, but like, has that ever stopped me before?
Oh, were you a troublemaker in school?
Depends who you ask.
It was upsetting.
Yeah. I'm sure it was. And cringes. Like, they were about to say they were sorry, but they know Luca doesn't want to hear that. I appreciate you investigating this with me. You didn't have to. But you did. And you were a great help.
No, it's not. It's no reflection on you or anything.
No, but you wouldn't have been in that situation if not for me. So, just thanks.
Mm. Mm-mm. Luca raises a finger and like waggles it. Like, bad things are always going to happen to people. That's just a fact of life. You can't take responsibility for them, especially if they're done by someone else.
Yeah, you said that to me a couple times now, if I recall.
And I have to get it through your thick skull, right?
I suppose that's what we have in common, huh?
Smack them on the head with like a damp fork.
Ding!
His like face scrunches like a cat. Swats Luca's arm away.
I'll tell you about it if you promise you won't take responsibility for something you didn't do.
Well, I'm not going to take responsibility for kidnapping you.
Yet.
Well, take a rain check on that one.
One day, if I'm lucky.
I'm gonna need some tools, probably. Like, I don't know, a sled.
1,000
A
meters of
draft
rope.
horse.
A hole.
That'd be effective. A man trap.
Ugh, too effective. Then I lose my prize, and what am I supposed to do then? Kidnapping kind of loses its value when the kidnapper gets eaten by a creature.
We can become plant mulch together.
Not exactly the future I dreamed of.
I think on that note, we'll
Mm-hmm.
end the scene.
Yeah. And I think that night, when N retires to their room, they're gonna spend some time writing some letters that they're planning to send off. Proper letters. Not like the drafts they were writing at the hotel room to try and figure out what they wanted to say at all. Making those paper balls that they later threw at Willow. Right, with access to, like, the Poppy's envelopes and stuff. They're gonna write a letter to Cassie's family, which they have not sat down and done since the memorial. And would it be possible to send a letter to Islay? Like, to where the ship might be docking next, and, like, letters would be picked up there, something like that?
I think you can definitely, there's definitely posts that gets onto ships, so yeah, you can,
Yeah, it's
if
not
you have
urgent.
the ship name and stuff, then yeah, it'll get to them eventually.
Yeah, so N's also writing a letter to Islay.
About what?
You want to hear it?
Yes?
Aw.
Let me find them. Wrote down both letters that N was gonna
Please read
write.
them.
Yeah. Okay. So the note to Tassie's family is very short. It says, I only knew Tassie for a short time, but during that brief encounter, she had a hand in changing the trajectory of my life. I wouldn't be where I am today if not for her. If your journey in life ever lands you in Regalport, do yourself a favor and get lunch at the Stacks. She left the pancakes there. Castor. And Islay. Seeker Islay. I'm writing this letter to apologize for my actions during the auction hall investigation. You know me as the friend of Taciturnia, victim of the undead attack. I came to you twice, demanding that you answer for her death. I'm deeply sorry for what I did to you as a result. My interactions with you were cruel and harsh, as was my heartless invasion of your thoughts in your most vulnerable moment. I understand how I've done one of the worst things imaginable to you. I was desperate for answers and angry that you played a part in hurting my friends. But I make no excuses. I recognize that I hurt you, and I'm sorry. I know what it's like to make mistakes that get people killed. That profound guilt that eats you from the inside. But the worst thing you can do is make a mistake and give up. because then that's all it will ever be. Through my time with the Blood of Wall, I've come to believe people can change for the better as long as they continue to live. I have faith that you will do the work to one day become a seeker you can be proud of. I hope you find peace in your path forward. Castor.
Damn! Wow!
Take inspiration.
Yay!
You don't already have it.
I don't! That's my first inspiration ever!
Oh, yes!
God damn.
Aw.
I can't believe I've never given you inspiration. I think it's because you consistently blow me out of the water.
Oh, okay. I guess
So
I'll
it's
take
like
that. Where do we set the bar? Anyway.
Yeah.
I think the one time I got inspiration was because Cognaut said something incredibly suggestive, so
It was very
that's why I
gay.
never
Yeah.
landed it. It never suggests shit.
No.
I
Yeah.
think I've gotten inspiration twice. Once for
Cut
kissing
my life
Cognaut.
into
Yeah.
pieces.
Yeah,
Yeah,
kissing
and
Cognaut
that
and the
one.
other
Got
for the
one
fork
kissing
joke.
Cognaut, but it was
Yeah.
the fork one.
Yeah.
I think I got the inspiration for you kissing Cognaut.
Oh, okay.
You won't get inspiration for kissing. Now we know how to get inspiration.
That's what
Yes.
ended.
That's why
game the
mine's a long
system.
time coming. But yeah, and it's going
Every
to.
time we kiss, we get inspo.
Yeah, so En's going to tuck those away
Oh.
neatly into a nice little poppy envelope and prepare to send those off
Yeah.
next time they get a chance.
Wow, look at you, so wise.
Well,
Sam.
Hello. What's your
Oh.
evening like?
And
Different.
out here writing letters. En's writing letters, and I feel like it cuts from En's closed letter to the still closed letter that Varys sent on the table,
Mhm.
and my building pile of shit that is amassing around it. I feel like Willow's going to discard the jobs that they've completed now that they're home.
Mhm. Yeah.
They spent probably most of the day out, probably got some baked goods. Let me know how much I need to
Yeah.
spend. Would have peeled away fast before the bakery's like, haven't seen
Probably
you in a while, where you been? Willow's like, bye.
It
Oh, you know.
Spend like 5 copper to a silver, depending on how much.
Spend a silver.
Okay.
Enough for dinner.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, good.
yeah, I imagine Willow comes home when it's like not fully dark yet, but they are set to sort of remain in the house
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
rest of the night. I assume that we got the impression from the group that it was just like, settle in today.
Yeah.
Don't do anything. But
Yeah.
can I do like a retroactive insight check to see? I'll just see if I land anything first.
Mhm.
oh,
18.
The insight check was like, what's the group's? Does it look like specifically N is going to settle, or is it like we'll need to regroup soon before?
It's probably like we will regroup soon, like in the coming days, but it's not like in the next few hours sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
we'll take a break. It feels much like that one sort of day of lapse in between, but with like a little more ease to it.
Yeah.
Of like, we're gonna go do our own things and just not be living with each other for a sec.
Yeah. Yeah, not living out each other's pockets, literally.
Yeah.
no, we lived
I
out
do
of
think
Damon's
Willow-
pockets. Don't forget. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah, so true. So Willow's gone to the bakery, slapped the cleaning rock, which is comforting and grounding.
Yeah,
And then, like,
yeah.
in a mild state of comfort and semi-satisfaction that they did most of the jobs, they come home and, I think they might actually fall straight asleep. I think they might, like, sort of plod around and then, like, do that, okay, I'll just lie down on my bed. Like that kind of, like...
Okay. I'm
Like
just gonna
sudden
relax
nap.
and rest my eyes and then
Dead to
Yeah.
the
And
world.
then it's morning.
No, I don't. I think they're gonna wake up like at night. It's that kind of like fall asleep at 6 p.m., wake up at 1 a.m. kind of snap.
yeah.
I also think that they probably were like dawdling around with their sword.
Mm-hmm.
And then so they've kind of fallen asleep. Like sort of spread eagle on the bed with one of their sword hand
Mhm.
holding the sword over the side of the bed. That kind of vibe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're gonna wake up like another one of those blink naps.
Yeah.
Sort of wake up disoriented, like I'm not in the hotel. Where the hell am I? the boat is on the sea now, right? So it rocks.
Yep.
Yeah, kind of sickened feeling of like, which boat
Whoa.
am I on? Yeah, which ship am I on?
Yeah.
Then, okay, mine. But you know when you like sleep in the middle of the day and you've left all the blinds open, and then you like walk
Yeah.
out and it's pitch black.
Dark. Yeah.
And Salvage is a different kind of dark to Regalport because there's no like ambient lights. It's just
there's like
the ocean.
maybe a handful. Like there's maybe a
Yeah.
handful like closer in the village, like the tavern and the Gold Dragon and things like that will have like little lights, and there's like maybe a handful of street lights around the center square where the cleansing stone is, but other than that it's pretty dark already. Certainly none of the house lights are on. Everybody's
and
well asleep.
one of the sides of my boat just literally is out at the sea, so that kind of like sometimes overwhelming darkness of when you look out at the sea at night. And I think Willow's going to like abruptly sort of go around and start closing all their windows and making sure everything is locked. There's like a horrible feeling of floating in the middle of nothing here that they probably didn't account for, seeing as they conked out.
Yep.
And I think that that feeling that they have successfully managed to outrun since landing on Salvage of like, I'm not scared, I'm home, is like, I'm home, I'm scared. Or I'm back in my boat and I feel in danger. The same kind of like...
the horrors are still in your head.
Yeah.
Even if they're not out in the world, you still remember them.
I think Willow's going to be restless for a little bit until they kind of get annoyed with how restless they are, and they're going to like sort of plonk down at their table in front of their chessboard and like tapping. Imagine them picking up and like tapping one of the pawns on the table, like just like a nervous, like when your leg bounce.
Yeah.
And they are going to sort of force themselves to the best of their ability to close their eyes and think about what's scaring them so much.
Okay. Make a wisdom saving throw. Sounds about right. Yeah. That was only days ago. And you can still feel the shudder of like raw skin of like this rubbery bony texture washing over your face as your mind is blanked against your will, as the thing that you have always been able to rely on above everything else is your own senses, and those were deceived utterly and completely in a way that you could have not predicted.
And I feel like it's the stacking, like the way it stacks in Willow's mind too, is they did a detect magic when they first went to Warfred, and they, even with their best detect magic, could not see that this thing was staring back at them this entire time. And then the next thing they remember is the suggestion spell going awry, like the suggestion spell, which they caught and then they dismissed. And for whatever confidence they gained in that regard is dismissed by the fact that Warfred had already done damage that they weren't aware of. And can I ask, like, what did that scene... So the memory of that forgotten memory of him pulling memories out of their mind, like, what does Willow remember it looking like from their angle?
You remember it comes in kind of like jagged and hazy because you failed that wisdom saving throw. You're not able to think about it clearly, so it comes in sort of like flashes and bursts of like, you remember the bit of Warfred saying his response to saying, I must have cut myself, and then you're saying, I think you're lying. And then the sort of cold, hazy wash of confusion that then gets peeled away to you remembering, like, the way his illusion momentarily broke. The thing that was concealing the helm momentarily was sort of, it phased through, so the illusion of his, like, composed face was still there as the tendrils sort of burst out beyond the bounds of that illusion and like forcibly grabbed you by the head, and you succumbed to the spell. You remember sort of the sound of his voice, strange and hypnotic, telling you what you remembered that first time when you left. The thing of, like, you will remember that we came to a draw, that I was busy, that you left, and we rescheduled our appointment to continue later. You remember sort of the brief moment of, like, him casting detect thoughts and, like, deeply invading your mind to pull on what hurts you the most, what are the biggest sources of pain in your memory, and the way that he, like, pulled those out and then closed you back up, like looking at a box of chocolates for later. And I think on a wisdom save of 8, all that comes flooding back to you in, like, bursts and starts, and you remember, like, the way you interacted with him after that moment. You remember, like, this has been going on for weeks, and you didn't know.
Yeah, I think that hits Willow like they've been struck a little bit, and they sort of, like, reel back in their chair, and, like, immediately, in a sort of similar way as they launched out of their chair after the making eye contact with Tarek's eyes in the helm. I think instinct says go for a walk. You always walk around Salvage when you're nervous. Just go outside, and then but then they'll get to the door, and it's like, even through the little window next to their door, impenetrable darkness outside.
Yeah.
And Willow's
silence.
Like, just silence outside, and just, I feel like, too, when someone you guys can answer me this, N and Luca, when someone digs into your memories the way that Warfred did, do you remember the memories that they are surfacing, like forcibly surfacing?
You are aware of the intrusion, if not necessarily what exactly they're digging for.
Okay, so it's not like you kind of relived that specific memory, it's just kind of you're aware that someone is rummaging.
Yes.
Okay. Even so, deeply unsettled, I think Willow's kind of gonna double check the door is locked, and then beeline, they're still holding, beeline downstairs behind the workshop bench, lock the workshop bench in place, and then, like, just sort of throw themselves into the elemental room and immediately sit down next to it.
Yeah.
And I think once they're, like, curled up there a little bit, just sort of trying to catch their breath in the light of something alive and familiar and comfortable-ish, they're gonna sort of, like, realize that they're still holding the little pawn that they were tapping on the chessboard, but they're, like, just, like, gripped it in their hands.
Yeah.
And they're just going to stay there until they settle, or probably stay there all night.
Yeah. You listen to the gentle sound of running water through the pipes in the elemental room and try to catch your breath. Your heart is racing as if you have just come from the fight. Every now and then you still experience these flashes of like, even as you try and ground yourself in like the sounds of the elemental, you still hear the sounds of Warfred's voice, the sound of the helm unlatching, unfurling itself, that sort of wet, slithering noise of something truly alien unwrapping itself. Make another wisdom saving throw.
Oh.
You realize that, like, that same thing took Tarek's eyes. And you saw how it stabbed Luca. You got really up and close with that thing, and it is all too easy for your brilliant mind to imagine exactly how he has murdered people using those powers. And I don't think you sleep.
Yeah, that's fair.
Take a point of
It is a-
exhaustion.
Yeah. Just kind of sitting there with their knees up to their face, their hands over their eyes, and their glasses pushed up to their head, and just staying like that for the rest of the night, just assailed by images of everything.
Yeah. I think it's not until dawn starts to break and you can hear the call of seabirds overhead that, like, you realize how long you've been down here.
Mm.
Your choice whether to leave this place or not.
Can I roll something again just to check?
Sure, what
I don't
do you
know.
want to roll?
Like, I'm just gonna keep rolling wisdoms until I get above a 10.
Fair. Roll one more time.
Okay.
I think after many hours of, like, being at the mercy of your own imagination, you uncurl yourself and throw open the door and head upstairs out into the sunlight as dawn breaks over Salvage. It's summer, so the sun rises early.
Hula's gonna go to work.
And so you do.
I feel like even if Willow's not there, En's probably gonna come around sometime early in the morning to the boat and just see if Willow's there.
How early/late are we talking?
I feel like it's pretty much around En's usual breakfast time at the Poppy. So then they get up relatively early.
I think Willow's probably set off at dawn, so they won't be
Yeah,
home.
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Is even though Willow's not there,
Yeah.
En is gonna come by
Yeah.
and check around. Cause
Well, the mailbox has been taken in.
yeah, I did see that there before. En is not unfamiliar with how one might feel after experiencing these things, and it's been on En's mind, and now that we're not sleeping in the same room, En doesn't know how you're faring, so En comes around like that, yep, and busts onto the scene and shows up. I think probably with some food they took from Elsa from breakfast. They took a portion of breakfast to bring to Willow's boat, and if Willow's not there, they might leave it. I imagine it's bread or something, so not something that needs to be kept cool.
Seagulls will take it away.
Yeah, so I think En's gonna find a place to tuck it, but somewhere Willow will see. And it's like in a paper bag, and they'll leave a note.
Yeah.
Thank you. In advance for when I get home.
Yeah.
I think the note is just like ready when you are.
Yeah.
Aww. Oh, and thanks. Pat your head.
And we'll leave that there and go back to the poppy.
Yeah. Luca,
Yes.
Oh.
what you up to?
Okay.
During the day?
Yeah.
Same. Literally. More
Okay.
same.
In that case, I would like you to make a medicine check, please.
Ooh.
Oh.
Uh-oh. Make it with advantage. Seeker Elsa is there to help you.
There we go. It's not one.
I mean, it's
He's taking some time to get back into the groove of things.
Yeah. I think
it's
it's you spill something.
Oh.
I think on a nat 1 you'd like, instead of breaking a bottle, you just spill something and you have a bit of a Elsa, of course, is very kind and forgiving.
Yeah.
But it has been a long time since you were here and you need to get back into the swing of things.
And there is the dread in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
Bit of both. Unfamiliarity and trouble.
Yeah.
I ask a question, Luca?
Yeah.
I asked you to retrieve or to keep your materials from when you mended Warfred. Did you unpack any of those when you got back?
Probably not.
No, you just kept them? Okay. As soon as you rolled on that one, I was like, why would you? Oh, no. You have all your problems in your pockets, but then, yeah, just a question.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
No, I don't think Luke is thinking of that right now.
Yeah.
Cool. Good.
Warford does not deserve my thought at the moment.
Nope.
Got too many thoughts, if you ask me.
Yep.
Yeah. No more thinking.
No more
Except
thinking.
for the fact that being a doctor requires thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No more thinking, Luca rolls on that one. Wait a minute.
Wait a minute, I do actually need to think.
I've overcompensated.
Not that dumb.
Yeah.
Gone too far in the other direction.
Yep. Yep. So. Do you talk to Elsa about what all has happened?
Yeah, I was thinking that he might slowly start unpacking everything when they're alone. So, like, if they're, like, mixing new brews and shit.
Yeah, definitely.
Start at the beginning and just go through everything that's happened. Probably won't even get through it all today.
Yeah. I think Elsa is well aware, like, she tells you. You already know, but she does tell you again, like, you can explain to her at your own pace, and it will be okay. She will listen.
Yeah.
And everything will find its place.
Yeah.
Do you tell her about your plans with Seeker Nereus?
Yeah, I think I would.
How do you explain it to her?
I think that it'll have to come separately, because even if I don't think I'll get through everything that's happened, but I do want to inform her soon. So
Yeah.
I think that when the conversation kind of turns away from the actual issues of the day,
Yeah.
Luca might casually mention that in the coming evenings he will be spending time in Regalport.
Oh, why is that?
Well, after everything was finished, I spent some time with Seeker Nereus, and he offered to take some time to help me process everything that has happened and try to build some strength from it.
Ah. Wow. That's good news, isn't it?
It is.
I must admit I'm a little bit jealous that you have a new teacher all of a sudden. I suppose I'd better start pushing you a little bit more on my end as well.
Oh, no, I could never ask you to do that.
Well,
He's
too
going
late.
to beat me around, so I will need you to take care of me when I get back.
Still, you have been working with me for how many months now? 7, 8? I think it's about time that we made sure you actually know what you're doing. You've learnt plenty enough under me.
Luca goes a little big-eyed, like, oh, what's happening?
So yeah. Seeker Elsa promises / jokingly threatens to start training you in the medicine skill. You've already received like quite a bit, so you will soon become proficient with it.
Oh!
So
I'll be doing that one.
yeah. So I think every day I'm going to ask you to roll a medicine check.
Mm-hmm.
And once you have hit a total of 30,
Yeah.
you will become proficient with the medicine skill.
Yay! Go, Luca, go!
Dr. Luca!
I'm going to be Luca MD, finally.
It won't just be a joke anymore.
You will be a qualified nurse.
Yeah!
You will have completed your Beyond First Aid training course.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be able
Oh
to
my
administer first aid to everyone.
You already do, but I'm glad you're feeling enthusiastic.
But better.
Luca, like, legally!
Yeah. I'm living the best life Luca could live right now. Don't even care about my new trauma. I have new happiness.
Aww.
It certainly balances the scales a little bit better.
It does.
Yeah.
I think it's about time that Willow met up with Bruno Saltbeard.
I think so too. I think Willow's gonna wander into work like they haven't left. Like, wander over to the dry docks. And just kind of start poking around at stuff. They haven't gone to Bruno's office, so I think they're just sort of meddling.
Oh, okay. Do you really just not go to his office? You just like show up and start doing stuff?
Depends how. I should. I know it's not, but like he's gonna show up soon anyway, right?
He will show up, but it's like you have been gone for 3 weeks.
I know. I mean, I guess I might as well. So if he yells at me, it's in private.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, no, I wasn't sure if we were like, it was going to be the kind of thing where we're both going to work at the same time, but I assumed that I might have been a little early, actually,
Yeah,
so I might go just like loiter near his office, even before he comes in. Huh?
Yeah. You very much were early.
Yeah.
So yeah,
cool.
you
I'll go lean on his door until he shows up for work.
Yeah, you lean on his door until Bruno arrives with a thermos full of hot tea, and he's like,
You're late? Willow says, looking at their watch. They don't have a watch, so they're just looking at their
yeah,
watch. Yeah.
I'm perfectly on time. What are you doing here, loitering about like a ghost?
Getting back to work. If I still
So
have a
that's what
job, Willow does like little pray hands.
Yes, for the time being you do. You certainly left me with a lot of stuff to catch up, but Elsa informed me of what all had happened. I assume if you could have come home sooner, you would have. But there's plenty for you to do. I've had a few other hands try and make up for your work while you were out of town, but we have a new hire coming in soon. They're just wrapping up their old position. Should be arriving in the next few days. Maybe next week.
Pity they went earlier. Willow remembers that they did actually ask him to find someone to train up. So that's done. That the world keeps moving, and that person is on their way.
Yeah.
Cool, I guess.
It'll take some
Yeah.
time for them to get settled in. They've got their family moving here and everything.
Oh wow.
I mean, it'd be daft to have to travel back and forth between here and Regalport every single day just to work.
Mm.
Anyhow, I'm sure you've seen the mess of letters people have left for you as repair requests.
Yeah, I started working on them yesterday.
I guess you should get back to them. He sort of slaps you on the elbow.
Thank you, by the way, for the Willow like mimes sign.
Now you were out.
Yeah, of course. Anyway, okay.
Show me
Willow,
you're worth your salt, Jenkins.
Yeah, I always do. So, okay, Willow's gonna leave.
Yeah,
Willow tried
Bruno
to say thank
shoos
you.
you
Bruno's
off.
like, oh, Willow's like, fine, and goes. They want to know about
guys-
the new guy, but maybe they don't. Yeah, like
They're-
ask
they're
Bruno
not
yet.
here
Maybe
yet.
they can ask others. Yeah. They can go about the dry docks and catch up on all, like, and do their rounds of saying thanks to the people that
Make
filled
a
in
Tinker's
in their
Tools
absence.
check and make an investigation check. Tinker's Tools is that investigation. Tinker's Tools is for your work.
Oh wait, don't I have disadvantage on ability today? Oh, that's not ability. That's tools.
Tool check is an ability check, but I will leave it at 10
Oh.
because
Because
Not
I'm
really rough.
Raj. Yeah, and so disadvantage on my investigation.
yeah.
Eh.
13 isn't bad. 13 isn't bad.
Yeah.
So you find out that the new hire is a Kenneth trained mage right. So somebody who was in like either the Makers Guild or what's the other one, the Tinkerers Guild, something like that. Somebody who's basically like gone to a trade school to repair things, and is looking to move in to Salvage with their family in tow. So this is like a working adult with like a trade job who's taken on a new sort of local position.
Yeah, nice. I imagine the busybodies of Salvage kind of know as well, like
Yeah.
like the details of like the family and like
Yeah.
how many kids they got, that kind of thing.
Yeah. It's a gnomish family moving in.
Oh, sorry, I shouldn't say it like that. Like it's just We haven't met anyone other than like half elves and problems this whole time.
The only other
Dwarves,
gnome we met had
half-elves, and
died.
humans and elves. Yeah. What? No, isn't Malachi a gnome?
Malachi
No,
is a
He's
goblin.
Goblin.
Goblin. Tassie's a gnome.
Yes.
Cassie was a gnome.
Right.
yes.
Sorry. Yeah. Okay.
And the Jaya Civis, the
Oh yeah.
communicator, was a gnome. You've met a
Yes.
couple of like in passing gnome NPCs. But
Yeah. A family moving in. That's nice.
Yeah.
It's nice. It's nice to hear, and it's nice to go around and give my thanks to the folks that have filled in. I imagine they are all quick to kind of be like, "Hey, welcome back!" Shoves all of your work into your arms.
Yeah.
But like in a
Nice to
nice
see
way,
ya.
but also in like
yeah, yeah.
a way
It's
to leave us
like
with the work.
yeah, it's like you were often in Regalport because of some obligation or other. Did you hear about the murder? And that sort of gentle village chatter of like there is a certain degree of insulation that Salvage
Yeah.
has from the rest of the world, which can be nice and also very annoying at times.
Yeah, I feel like in this case it's somehow a little bit of both. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
There is the like, oh, I'm so glad that I don't have to like hear about it in express detail, that these people don't know that I was like heavily involved in the case. But at the same time, it's prickling at the same part of Willow's head that's like, nobody knows
Yeah.
that I did anything during that case. Not even me. It's like a
Yeah.
a wound is being salted somewhere on my body, and I don't know where
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah. I'm like,
Very
disinfecting? Maybe, but also, ow!
Yeah. Someone died. Yeah, I just stayed up all night
About
reimagining
it.
it in explicit detail. Actually, so it's interesting, but it's
Yeah.
a work day.
But it's also like they don't linger long on it.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people like complaining about like, you never told us how this thing works. You're the only one who knows how to fix this. When will you share? You're just like,
And Willow's,
Yeah.
Willow's got that vibe of like, watch me do it. I don't know. But yeah, if anyone wants to watch, they'll show. But yeah, it's
yeah. It's more a case of like, you have had years of training
yeah,
and also work in a very innovative and quick way.
yeah.
And I don't imagine you have made yourself very available for
No.
people to just like busybody around you.
No, Willow does a lot of their work back on their boat too, like on
Yeah,
purpose,
exactly.
deliberately isolated. It's literally since the Jenny that Willow has started being like, if you want to watch, you can sit and watch. Like,
Yeah.
since people are like have a renewed interest in my presence, yeah,
Yeah.
you can watch cats here. You know, like
Yeah.
so. Yeah, they tried to get a new hire in before they started being MIA, but it just kind of bad timing.
Look, circumstances were what they
Yeah.
were. But so I think the 10 reflects that like you are doing work. It's just a lot of it.
Yeah.
It's just like you have 3 weeks to catch up on, and that's not going to happen in a single day.
Nah.
As good as you are,
Yeah.
you're 9 women can't make a baby in 1 month. Situation.
Oh, I feel like someone said that at Salvage, and Willow looks at them like, I think it's my lunch break, actually. Actually, if it is my
Anyway.
lunch break, I might head home and see the package, the thing that N got me.
Yeah.
You stop
Yeah.
by to pick up whatever leftovers from the bakery you have, and you find a little leftover gift of breakfast from N. You definitely recognize their handwriting by now. It's so
Yeah.
Yeah. I
And
think
then
they've
it's a
doodled a
book.
little thumbs up at the end of their ready when you are. No.
I think then, yeah, Willow spends whatever remains of their workday
Mm-hmm.
preparing for that to be tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Ready when you are. Willow's ready as I'll ever be.
Yep. And I imagine you go post your letters.
Yeah, I'll just go up to the local post office. I don't need anything special.
Mhm.
Not even
Yeah.
going to anyone in Regalport, so.
I think spend a gold for in total.
Cool.
Um,
Yeah, these are distant letters.
yeah,
And finding a person on the sea is like
yeah,
need a little bit more work
I
there,
need
buddy.
a special courier.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, like, there's ways for mail to get to ships.
Yeah.
If sort of that Regency era style of communication is, people get letters on ships all the time. It just takes a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think what ends just gonna do a kind of a walk around Salvage to acclimatize themselves to the place again.
Yeah.
Nothing
There's
really
like
happens.
you can tell when everybody's on their lunch break because literally the entire village will be on their lunch break. You can tell like when people are wrapping up for the day, that sort of thing. I imagine there's a lot of like fishing and dock work that happens early in the day, and then like the rest of the day is just off, and they do
Yeah.
whatever like living they need to do. Whereas others will start a bit later in the day, and then especially people who are like serving food and stuff like that. You know,
Yeah.
sort of have there's a really nice sort of relaxed rhythm to the way that the village works. There's hustle and bustle, but it doesn't feel crowded
Yeah.
the
Especially
way that Regalport does.
especially with such a stark contrast to having just been in Regalport for 3 weeks previously.
Yep.
It feels a lot calmer and
Yeah.
quieter here. Even the bustle.
Yeah. It's a lot more intimate. It's people greeting each other because they actually know each other and checking in and all that stuff.
Yeah. Again, just as watching it with a sort of fondness. They're
Yeah.
kind of remembering the time they first ran around Salvage when they could hide their eye and their skin condition and
Yeah.
how freeing that felt. They just are kind of reminiscing on, yeah, I've built up kind of fond memories of this place.
Yeah.
Weird, but I'm not objecting. I think while they're walking, they also do pass by the gold dragon, the only one in Salvage, so they know that's the one Damon's likely staying at, unlike Regalport, where you
Yep.
like take your pick.
Yep. This is the gold dragon of Salvage.
Yeah. And then kind of stares at it from the outside for a moment before carrying on with their walk.
So, we return to the team reconvening. I will just quickly make a note that we've decided that instead of the proficiency in the medicine skill, which Luca already had, and I just forgot, Luca will be gaining proficiency with the tool herbalism kit.
Yay! I'm a Herbie boy
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
It feels appropriate for Luca. He's very
that's
He's been
nature boy.
He's been in the
That's your
garden
herbal
of the
essence.
poppy.
Yeah.
For a long
Time to learn
Is
some
that the brambles
recipes.
dream?
Yeah.
They were briars, not brambles.
Briars, pardon me.
You know, it's okay, you
All
don't
good.
know.
Yeah, I don't know your dreams.
You're not educated on flowers like I am.
Yeah, because you've been educated
Okay.
by Secret Elsa.
Exactly. Full circle.
I do, yes. I think Willow's going to pop around after work, basically, to sort of be like, I got the note with
Yeah.
the lunch bag, eating the lunch.
Nice.
We're at the door with like a pot of food for Willow that we were planning on bringing to you.
Are you actually?
I
I
feel.
think it'd be funny.
I think Luca has
Yeah.
a whole pot.
Yeah, I made you soup.
Luca has like a little hot pot situation. Like
Oh,
a
yum.
what do you,
Yeah.
I guess in English it is called hot pot, but
I
Yeah.
think they're called hot pots in general. Like
Or
the
like-
little pots.
I was thinking of specifically the dish. I guess casserole-ish type thing. It's something that you bake in like a clay pot to. That's sort of a
Yeah.
baked stew situation.
Yeah.
Oh,
All I can think of is the German word Eintopf, which just means one pot or in the pot.
Ein top.
Yeah.
Recipe.
Which
Yeah,
I'm gonna assume that means recipe.
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, I would
No,
call this a
so
casserole.
are we Are we meeting awkwardly at the door with me arriving with my bag of bread and you arriving with the...
I didn't put him up
you
to this,
leaving.
so if Luca shows up with a casserole,
Yeah.
Oh no, like I
Yeah.
come to the poppy after work.
yeah, that's
Oh,
what
we
it,
thought we were coming. I thought we were coming to you, so I was bringing you food.
Yeah.
I think we meet at the door because
the door.
you
Yes,
showed up
yeah.
at the poppy and we were on our way out to check on you because we figured you're off work at this hour, maybe by now. So we were gonna come around.
Yeah, well, you correct. The awkward stance at the door. Oh,
Fancy meeting you here.
Yeah, I was just on my way out, and then it's gonna like squeeze on past Willow and start down the street.
where are you going?
Well,
To visit a friend.
figured
Oh,
they could use
sorry,
some
and-
dinner. Apparently, gestures at Luca.
I made you. Oh no, I've already forgotten the word.
Casserole?
No,
Eintopf?
I made you Eintopf.
Willow does not know what that is, so they're just well,
it smells like
nice.
it smells like a stew.
So I guess we're all visiting that friend then.
Yeah.
If you're
I think you deserve a
interested,
visit. Oh, that's true.
Really
They
ro-
could turn us away.
or they could show up here. I was thinking more. I don't know. Where's the comfiest place to sit down and eat a whole whatever that is? Gestures at what Luca's holding.
Eintopf. Raises the bowl.
And it's like finger gun, like, yeah, right, that thing.
Willow's like, okay, I'll save the bread you dropped off this morning then to eat with my stuff, whatever. And we'll just start heading back to their boat because you guys are obviously playing around with this, like, who we're visiting? It's me.
It's you.
It's me.
You.
So that's nice.
You walk together back to Willow's boat.
Yeah. Willow's going to say just before they open the door, pardon the mess.
Yeah, you haven't cleaned in weeks.
Yeah.
Considered it pardoned.
Okay, yeah, head inside and you guys see the little explosion of stuff all over the little desk or the table.
And
Everything's pretty neat, but like that, like there's just like an
The
obvious
table has been made into a desk.
and bounces their eyebrows. I'm just like
Desk.
kind of impressed at how much it looks like Willow turned over their pockets and just let everything landslide out.
Yeah, you're right.
So where do we put the gestures at
stove.
Luca?
Hey, do we have the Jenkins workshop map? I haven't seen it in a while.
Yeah. Sure,
Reset.
yeah, let's bring that up.
Yeah. Been a long time.
We-
Oh, look, the old crew is still here.
Oh, I miss them so much.
Well,
I'll just hide
Like I
them.
can still hear their voices.
Or bring
Where
them
am
to
I?
me.
Oh, there I am.
You were downstairs.
Luca
Yeah.
puttering around the kitchen, getting plates, bowls.
Yeah, so
While
Stu
Willow
can go
clears
over there.
space.
yeah. Just like wholesale like scraping thing. I think Willow's created a big danger pile of just like notes and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I'm almost imagining is you like lifting the tabletop off the table legs, putting it on the bed, and getting a different like slab of wood to be a new tabletop.
En's just standing there watching you work. Like, En doesn't know what to do. Luca's set to set up the table and doesn't necessarily want to touch your stuff without your permission or to help you clean. You don't want that. So En's just watching you as you do this.
Oh, it's so funny. It's
Just
so
like-
unnecessary, but yeah. For the vibes, I'm gonna say yes, I replaced the tabletop.
Impressed with how you live your life.
Thanks.
Seems very Willow core.
Just the pile of madness can go to sleep for now on the
Yep.
bed. And
Cover it with
the
a
table
blanket.
is mostly clear with like a just like a plywood thing,
Yeah.
a thin thing. Alright. Well, we can eat.
Yeah. You settle down to eat. it's delicious.
Yum.
Feels like
Very
old
hearty,
times.
lots of potatoes and fresh herbs from Elsa's garden.
Imagine this kind of thing, like you take that first mouthful and it's like, yeah, food's good. Food's food, and then like Willow's like, oh my god, homemade food. Like it's been ages. We haven't had homemade food since the last time Elsa made us food, which was a month ago. So, like,
Yeah.
whoa.
I mean, and brought you Elsa's cookies at one point, but that's different from a whole
It's a
meal.
cookie.
Cookies compared to like a full meal, you know?
Yeah.
A warm meal. Like Lily's like feeling that exhaustion point ebb away. It's not really, but like it feels like it.
You feel like, oh, you're gonna sleep well after this from sheer like the physical weight of food in your belly.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Okay. Willow just finishes their meal in silence.
Yeah, maybe we all just have like a nice, comfortable.
Yeah, it's like
dinner.
a quiet. It's a quiet meal of like you'll chat a little bit about like what you've been up to day to day.
Did you hear about the baby?
Heard about the baby?
In joke about the baby.
Yeah.
Oh, no one knows its name. She's like, yeah, the baby.
I mean, it's just been born. It doesn't have a name yet.
Oh my god, maybe that's the thing around town, and everyone's like thinking about what it's going to be named.
Everyone's
It's
suggested a
after
name.
Grandpa or Grandma or Grandpapa.
Grandpapa.
People taking bets around town on like what the baby's going to end up being called.
Yeah.
I was going to say there was like a baby pool to see what day it would be born.
Aww.
Someone was very happy with their winnings.
Aww.
Aw.
So cute. Oh, anyway, yes, little conversations about Salvage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like a quiet, cheerful meal in each other's company, in like a safe, familiar space.
Yeah, miles away from how this room felt yesterday.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's full and warm.
Yeah. Like me! Right now, when Willow like pushes their ball away at the end, just like, oh.
Good.
Mm. Well, that's counterproductive. Now I could just have a nap. They look over at their bed with the pile of shit on it. And they're like, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Unless you sleep on the
You sleep
floor.
under it.
No, that's true.
I've slept in
You
worse
still have
places.
some hammocks.
They're not gonna. But let's waving it off. We're not here to nap. Yet.
It could be.
Not off the table entirely.
If you guys keep pushing it, Willow's like, I do have a couch downstairs that I nap on. Are you guys actually saying I should nap while I'm tired?
No. And saying
Get the
later.
conversation out of the way. And then
And then, yeah,
Good
no, okay,
sleep.
I think Willow's not going to. I think to kind of, I imagine Luca to be the type that sort of piles the bowls like at the end of the dinner,
Yeah.
and like as soon as the table is like mildly clean, Willow says, besides, we have conversations to be had, or there are conversations to be had, and then like not slams, but plonks the whiskey from Bartosh's house on the table.
Oh. And like slides the bottle closer to have a look at it.
Make a history check. And
I know what this is.
This is top shelf shit.
Damn, where'd you get this?
Guess.
Did you steal it?
Luca's head snaps to you.
This bottle alone is worth about 50 gold pieces. Which is a big ticket item.
And grinning as they said that.
Willow just smirks back at you and then will stand up to get their glasses.
Yeah.
Not eyeglasses, like whiskey glasses.
Yeah.
You're not going to drink it, are you?
Oh, yes, I am going to drink it, actually.
Oh.
Don't wait for this kind of stuff. I think we have enough to celebrate.
Lily sits back down, like plops each of you a
Like a
glass.
figureful will do.
Yeah, only a little.
This is sipping whiskey. This is
Yes.
fine stuff.
This isn't like one shot of whiskey. Glug, 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 glug. It's literally just like a little like. Psst.
Yeah.
So yeah, little bit just for everyone, and like I think, as it seems, the implication of it is once we're getting down to business now. So Willa's going to
Yeah.
sort of raise the glass to you with the silent toast to let's get down to business.
Yep. And toasts. Well,
Look at us, yeah.
You have to sip before you place it back down, or else it's bad luck. Please.
yeah, Ed's absolutely gonna sip it.
Oh, yeah,
They want to
sip.
go into this conversation with the off the back of drinking some of this.
Yeah.
I don't even.
It
think
is
Willa
like
likes whiskey.
warm and spicy and rich.
Oh no.
Like it sort of like you get that initial sort of like there's the sort of tones of alcohol obviously, but like it also smells like campfire and burnt cinnamon and sugar. A little bit of like leaf and malted grain.
I think
It's
that.
very
Willow
rich
and-
and warming.
I think that Willow and Anne both noticed Luca hesitate very slightly before taking a sip.
Yeah. Well, Anne looks very pleased as they place down their glass, like just content, and yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and like
this
whiskey, I
is-
remember this.
Yeah.
This is some of the best stuff you've had in years.
Yeah,
Like
huge smile, and his eyes are like squeezed shut as they savor the
Aw.
flavor.
I
Head
think Willow
tipping
had
back.
that like I don't really even like whiskey, and then they like smelt and tasted this one. They're like, oh no, this is nice.
you're like, oh, I see why.
I don't
Yes.
like bad whiskey.
Yeah, just sitting there with
It's
like,
like,
it under
ah.
their nose.
And enjoying it even more, knowing it was stolen from Warfred.
Yeah.
And what's better than whiskey? 30-year-old whiskey? 30-year-old whiskey stolen from your enemies.
Yeah, exactly. You get it. Okay. Everyone takes their sip, settles into our bones a bit. And then
Sorry.
I
I think Willa's gonna sit back with a kind of expectant look at you guys, like, who wants to go first?
I mean, I imagine you have questions. All
I
things
imagine you have
considered.
statements.
That's one way to define it. Luca, do you want to go first?
On
Anything?
the 18th, we attended the auction in Regalport.
Okay. I'm sorry, we were... okay, are we doing this reported? Are we writing a report?
Oh. I don't know.
I think the idea here is that we've kind of been cut off from each other for a little while because of the whole Madani contract. And now, well, Madani contract and the general chaos of the situation. Now we can talk freely and share what happened over the course of those days. And stares off at the distance for a minute.
Luca might have the right idea. Perhaps a calendar of events can help jog your memory, but only the imperative, I think, is the...
Yes, we don't have to go through the entire event. Just if you had anything you would like to share with the group, your free stage is yours, Luca. If not, I can get the ball rolling.
You are the one that
Nods
left the
like,
note.
yes, please.
Well, like, was about to be like, you started it, so you talk.
All right. What do you want first? The Warfred business or the Eye business?
Oh. Luca raises his glass, like, yeah?
It's not a yes or no question.
No, like, Warford whiskey, Warford stuff.
Okay.
Oh. This or that. Yeah. What?
Okay. Right, okay. Well, this is mostly for Willow's benefit since you were kind of iced out of the whole investigation. Well, first things first, he was capable of reading minds. It feels like it might be old news at this point, like the least of his crimes. But I did catch him reading yours, Willow, at the memorial. That's how I found out, because I was reading his, and then I heard your thoughts, and that's not supposed to happen. So, yeah, I didn't tell you at the time because, he could read your thoughts. I didn't want you to tip him off.
I was taking the same safeguards, so good. Glad you didn't tell me.
Yeah. Now, it's not going to be an issue now. And might prattle off some of the general information and evidence that they learned through the contract with Brina. Kind of draw comparisons between some of the questions they asked Willow and what they were really trying to ask at the time. Just kind of to flesh out those interactions for Willow. And eventually choice of words. And eventually they will arrive at the Speak with Dead ritual. So, I don't have a transcript of Tarek's whole Speak with Dead response. I don't know if you would have any interest in that at all, but we asked him what he experienced in his last moments alive, obviously, because murder case. And he did respond in a poet's manner. So, anyway, the point is, it wasn't just his dying moments that he recited. He also recounts the destruction of Ciri in vivid detail. So, if you are interested in reading about what exactly Warfred did, just be warned that the latter half of that transcription is going to contain some very visceral descriptions.
Yes, the worst things that Tarek Olam would have experienced, I believe, was Warfred's approach in this situation. Trust me, I've considered it. Flashback to them the night before, basically reconsidering that from all angles. It's interesting to have the idea, interesting for Willow to have the idea that, there is written, confirmed text from the murder victim themselves about what happened, especially after a whole night of, imagining it. They can't tell if they want it or they don't, but either way, they do understand it, so...
Yeah.
They're just gonna sip their whiskey and shrug.
Right, well, that's... there. That's also how I learned about the... Well, I was able to make a strong connection between the silver pins and Warfred and Tarek, because he mentioned something along the lines of a tragedy mask in silver. So, that all lined up well with your little discovery at the memorial. I wasn't the only one looking really closely at Warfred that day. So between that and the Speak with Dead ritual, I was really able to lock in on Warfred.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything in specific about the investigation you'd like to know, now that my lips aren't sealed? Oh, there's something else I should tell you, considering, well, am I wrong to think that the little thing that Warfred dropped before he was sent away about a certain captain might be on our minds?
Yes.
It's Meraldine, and says to Luca straight, because they know they're talking in doublespeak to Willow, but Luca's just sitting here.
Yeah.
Warfred
Willow nods a little.
Warfred said that she was a traitoress, and though I don't exactly believe Warfred at his word, it is interesting that he said it at all. I wouldn't exactly be surprised if there's corruption among the elite, even if it's pirates. Anyway, not the point.
I hear the glug 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 of Willow pouring themselves another drink and topping up your drinks as well.
Yeah.
Like just while you're talking, there's like a little spasm of a headache that comes up when you bring up Meraldine, because they were thinking of everything about this case and they still weren't really thinking fully of Meraldine. So now it's like, yes, cool, little cherry on top. And so yeah.
Well, the reason I bring it up is because I read her mind during the Speak with Dead ritual, just to make sure she wasn't the murderer. And I spoke with her after the fact as well, as Kai. Because we had, I hesitate to call it a rapport, but we had a business venture for a
Working
couple hours.
Yes.
Regardless, obviously not the murder. She was as terrified as is appropriate for what Tarek said. But what was interesting was when Kai pressed her about where she was on the night of the folly when I impersonated her at the theater. She was very cagey. I know she was not with Tarek at the time, but what she decided to use as an excuse was an affair that she really tried to sell me on, but somehow I don't believe it, especially since, well, I was in her head a little earlier.
Okay. As opposed to the twitch of like headache, that actually gives Willow pause to consider. Like you see them start to think a little deeper about the Meraldine aspect and what that traitoress means versus the idea of a self-confessed affair.
A very strange
It might have been
thing.
playing, but
Say.
yeah, Willow's quiet, but will sort of nod in a more intrigued way.
So just getting that out there in case it becomes relevant. You never know in this day and age.
Did you find anything else while you were digging around in her head?
Remind me, team. In meta, is there anything of note I can think of?
There's the blip questions that Meraldine didn't ask before she
Yeah.
gave that final question.
Yeah, I remember one of them was that she was wondering if Tarek still loved her, I believe was one.
Mm-hmm.
What were the others?
I can go look it up, I think. What day was that? What session was that?
Gosh knows.
Gosh.
Yep, okay. Found it.
Oh, you got it. Okay.
It was like, it was asking, do you love me? Do you want to live?
Oof.
And then the question that she actually asked is, are you satisfied with your works as they are?
Yeah. I don't know if N's going to share that information because it's kind of private and it doesn't seem relevant. Yeah. So that's kind of why N's been talking around it. Said, I don't believe it because I was in her head.
So if when Willow prompts you to know what else she found, you don't say anything?
I think I'd only say anything that seemed relevant. Not like her personal feelings.
Mm-hmm.
I think you could say like she was debating about which question to ask.
Yeah.
But yeah. You don't necessarily describe them in so many words.
Yeah, just kind of assuring.
Oops. Oh, yeah, no, that's right. Cool. I don't insight anything. Cool.
Reading minds is a tricky business. Sometimes things get lost in radio static.
Yeah.
You say
also, it's been several weeks.
Crisp detail.
Yeah.
It also has been several weeks. So
yeah.
Yes. I think at this stage, Willow is also going to No, not yet. Never mind. We're just accepting information for now. Okay.
Yeah, but
How
what's it
how
looking
involved
at?
was she in the case?
Not very.
yeah,
Willow's asking.
she was part of the Speak with Dead ritual. She pretty much demanded to sit in and veto questions if she didn't agree with them,
Of course.
of course. And after the fact, me and Brina did a search of Tarek's apartment, and she was present for that as well. We, at the time, well, I don't know if Warfred let you know that he pretty much poisoned the entirety of Tarek's apartment with with the mercury stuff, but specifically gifts from Meraldine to Tarek, you know, because that's a smooth move to try and frame his lover.
How
Literally,
subtle.
it was everything. It was the makeup, it was the teapot, it was the ink pot, it was excessive.
Oh, here I was checking my drinks like an idiot. Willow just takes another sip of their whiskey.
Yeah, next time check your lipstick. Either way, she was ready to deal with Warfred personally. We managed to talk her down from that, hoping to set up a trap for Warfred that might ensnare the larger scope, because I may or may not have suggested that Warfred was involved with other people that might want to hurt Tarek. So even if we took down Warfred, someone else might come back to undo all of Meraldine's work with Tarek, and that managed to calm her down enough that she agreed to work with us. And the whole plan was actually to rent a room maybe above Warfred's apartment and use that to spy on Warfred, especially when you went in for your next meeting, but obviously the situation moved a bit quicker than anticipated, and now we're here.
So she knows about the Snapdragons.
She doesn't know about the Snapdragon specifically. I kept the details pretty light.
Right.
I suggested that Warfred might have been involved in a larger scheme, and I also may have dropped a hint about the silver pins to her. But it was all very surface level. I didn't sit her down and tell her, hey, wanna know where I lost this eye?
Maybe she'd tell you where she lost hers.
That'd be fun.
Doubtful. I'm gonna swing my head over to Luca. Did you meet her?
The captain. Several times.
Yeah, Luca was involved in the Speak with Dead ritual. He also acted as her bodyguard when the news came out. I'm sure you saw that.
Did I see that?
Journalists hounding her, and talking specifically about the
Oh,
newspapers.
right. Yes. Okay.
So journalists were hounding her and other such nonsense, so Luca stayed around to help out.
Not really gleaning much. That was a glance at Luca, because he's been quiet.
He's just listening to En's recounting for now. Doesn't feel like he has anything extra to add.
Okay. You're a bodyguard for the lady. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so by the time shit went down, she was not on land. She'd
No.
gone
She
out
was
on
out
her ship.
on the harbor.
Yes.
I saw that much.
So she wasn't involved as we had planned. And she wasn't involved as we hadn't planned either. She was just involved in the trial at the end, as it turns out. So essentially her
Yes.
two biggest points of contact were the Speak with Dead ritual and the trial. And me dropping
Sure,
my
then.
hints.
Take the winnings.
Nah. Isn't that the pirate way?
Miller kind of wrinkles their nose in like a... They won't get into the specifics, but like...
And is joking, very obviously.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Willow's like, well, technically no, but like, yeah. Let's shake their head. Enough about Meraldine.
Yeah, I think that's all I've got on the investigation. I did promise to treat Brina later, so if you guys want
good.
in on that, let me know.
Will Peter be there?
I mean, probably.
Maybe
And it goes
Peter
everywhere
sleeps.
with her.
Hmm.
Yeah, I figure you go out for some drinks or something. Celebrate all our good work.
Willow says nothing, but takes another sip. This is out of habit. I don't.
Hey, I still win.
Cool. Willow doesn't feel much like they have something to celebrate. They're not going to rain in the parade. Because objectively, there has been, the crime has been solved-ish. But yeah, they're not necessarily like, woohoo, time to go drink. And I feel like you guys might know too, like, usually after every event, Willow is like, aha, let's go and toast to the event. And it's quite like a celebration milestone, even like our little soup outing after finding Dragovich. Even after we lost Vaelia.
Yeah.
There's been a kind of an absence of fanfare from Willow. Or even any statement about their role in this at all.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really a miracle we have anything to celebrate. I had no idea how I was going to steer Brina in the right direction for the longest time. I wasn't as forthright with her from the beginning, obviously. But all I had was little observations at the auction hall, these little discrepancies in his testimony. Nothing concrete, and Brina thought his alibi was pretty tight. I might have never caught him, or he might have gone on to do something else with his and gestures at their face.
The helm.
With the yeah. So it was really lucky we had someone who could get close to him.
I think while you're talking, Willow sort of stands up to go over to the pile of crap and sort of start fishing out the bits that they collected from his house. So that's a journal. Did I keep the silver coin? Yeah.
Yeah.
So the journal, the coin, the
Correspondence.
the correspondence, all the letters. And I think I might keep the jewelry box to myself. But actually, no, they'll probably bring at least the signet ring and sort of plop that all in the middle of our new table.
Oh, I didn't look at that.
At this point, they're filtering through the actual like correspondence to sort of read it, half listening to what N's saying. They know what N's trying to say.
Yeah.
Kinda. It's just like it's sliding off. I think they're gonna mention now. Well, most of this I got after the fact. And I'm not sure what use any of it is, as it doesn't seem to tie him back to anything at large. Granted, there isn't a tie to anything at large, instead, other than him trying to, appeal to Edmund Beckett. He was liaising with Alonzo, though.
Yeah, I know that during our stakeout, and like he hasn't really talked too much about that, but Willow already knows, so they're like, no need to detail that. I did see Alonzo briefly stop by Warford's abode.
Right. and I have the testimony about it, but
And
I
then
believe you said something earlier about... I imagine N sort of mentioned the Edmund clearing the name of Alonso.
And hasn't gotten to talking
Or
about the eye stuff yet.
hasn't
and
gotten to
Alonso.
that.
That's another
Okay.
section we have not gotten to yet.
Yeah. Well, then Willow has no reason to assume that Alonso is out of the picture yet. Willow will say then, well, at least there is some evidence, I suppose, of Alonso's dealings, my testimony and yours.
Well, that's the thing, right? Maybe you didn't find anything super incriminating in Warfred's apartment, but the little things that start to tie the case together. Unfortunately, when it comes to Alonso, Edmund has cleaned his hands of the whole thing, has no idea how a monster could have possibly taken on the visage of his beloved butler, as the real Alonso Reedfoot returned safely to Sharn with him. Pretty
There is
expected.
a little flicker of annoyance on Willow's face.
I know, right?
That kind of quashes the two. It kind of squashes the idea, the thing that they were saying, like, maybe that's a lead. Nope, it's not a lead. In the wider scheme, he has severed ties completely. So Willow's just, like,
But
annoyed.
let me finish. The thing is, Alonso sent a message to Edmund before I got to him. A little warning about me, as I understand it. But the thing is, I have a record of this Alonso, the night that he attacked me, contacting Edmund in Sharn. Now that's a little harder to shrug off.
Willow bounces their brows and nods. That works.
I also have some smaller things. I raided his hotel room, Alonso's, and found some letter paper, stationery that matches a letter that I also have of Edmund's. That's not foolproof,
works.
but it's a connection.
More of a connection than you'd like. Willow's flicking through the correspondence. Does anything catch my eye now that I'm reading them a little more closely?
The only really useful thing among Warfred's kept correspondence is you find the contact for where Warfred was getting his supply of Dream Lily.
Hmm.
Like, Dream Lily is a controlled substance that does have medicinal uses, but obviously, like, there is a black market for recreational Dream Lily.
Yeah.
And you find the name of a Redran human trader. Redra is one of the nations on the continent of Sarlona, by the name of Riavet Narquo. I'll paste that in the chat. So you have a source for where Warfred was getting the Dream Lily, at least.
Yeah. And I think after that, Willow's going to kind of sit back down, sort of toss that onto the table and say, well, I have the Bartosz signet ring and the dealer.
Well, those are both things we could pursue. I wonder if the dealer might also deal to other... and rolls their eyes because they're thinking of the real name, Snapdragons.
It's possible.
It's something worth looking into. Speaking of Dream Lily and Sharn... I did mention something pretty literally massive a few days ago. And pats their hands on the table and looks around the room. I don't suppose either of you remember what that was.
And it is
Luca?
difficult to forget. Yeah, what's Luca doing?
Watching in, seeing how they respond to talking about it.
I'm glancing at Luca again to see why he hasn't said a goddamn word this whole time.
Yeah, and looking at you too.
Whatever.
That's rough, buddy. But we're in the same boat. so
Yeah,
don't
pretty
worry
rough,
about
huh?
Luca, please contest because you can still fail this.
Yes.
Can I go persuasion?
Go
You
whichever
can
way you want. Just
persuade
lose.
that you're waiting your turn.
Yes.
Whoa.
Good enough.
Good enough. Yeah, Luca is just sort of waiting for you guys to get done before he starts talking. But they are looking to you to see if you remember what Anne told you the other night.
Please respond to Anne's question.
Luca nods, like, you can keep going.
Right, so... How do you even get into this tower spit? The eye! Its origin is that, the beholder, sleeping under Sharn, the slumbering tyrant, if you will. We've all but
This isn't
confirmed.
just a theory anymore.
Well, I'll get into this, but I did read Alonzo's thoughts, and
Ah.
we more or less confirmed through that. I hesitate to even call it a beholder. It's so immense. I saw it for as a vision. I saw the thing. And the eye believes that a beholder wouldn't allow itself to be stolen from. So either this beholder is unaware, which wouldn't be out of the question considering it's asleep, or it's willing in the harvest of its eyes. Considering it has a, air quotes, emissary, or otherwise might choose people directly, seems to have some manner of awareness, maybe. It's unclear. Does that make sense?
Willa nods a little.
Okay. Neither of you have been to Sharn, have you? And, like, pulls over a scrap of paper.
No.
Right, but you do
Luca
know...
shrugs.
Yeah, right. I mean, within your current life of memories. Anyway, you know it's made of towers, right? And it's, like, scribbling some tower shapes. Tall tower shapes. Very tall tower shapes.
Yep.
With a thickened base. So, we have Sharn, the main city. And then you have the cogs. And draws some, like, cog shapes under Sharn. That's what lies underneath all of this. And then we have the ruins. And then goes below the cogs and starts, like, just scribbling random shapes. And it's down here in these ruins, which I believe are from the Dakani Empire. That's where and draws a big circle. Our friend lives. So that's what I mean
Question while
by
I
sleeping under Sharn.
Sorry, go. Okay. A question to Zeke.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know the ruins that Damon talked about? What was his name? The Tarkanan guy.
Mm-hmm.
Of flattening Shan. Are those ruins, or are they ruins
No.
that precede him from the Dakani Empire?
This is way older. Tarkanan was, I think, a few hundred years ago. That was War of the Mark.
Wait,
I will double check.
1,500 or 1,200 years ago, or something like that.
I will double check my timeline. Let me go, Luke, because this is a lot of
Numbers.
stuff. Where is? Yeah, War of the Mark was 1500 years ago.
Yeah.
But the sort of the city of Sharn, as we understand it now, was built after that. So there's
Okay.
old Sharn, which is like War of the Mark stuff, and then there's New Sharn, which is built on top of that. Below
Yep.
Old Sharn is the Deccan stuff.
Cool. And I should know this off the top of my head by now, but the Khani Empire was how long ago? Pre-Galifar.
Yeah, way before that, pre-War of the Mark. Let me go see.
That place is just ruins on top of ruins.
Yeah.
And when that beholder busts out, more ruins.
I should stop building there.
It's like there's like old Naples and then there's Pompeii. Deccan is the Pompeii situation.
Yes. All right.
Okay. So yeah, that was so at the latest, the ruins under Sharn, under Old Sharn, are 5,000 years old.
All right.
As I recall, the Dalkir brought over beholders and other such tower spit when they came to conquer, didn't they? So it makes sense to me if this was a leftover of that. But I don't know. When I was fighting with Alonso, I managed to pretty much siphon a majority of his memories, and then pinches at their temples. I haven't really been able to parse what I got out of him yet. It was a lot of information, and I feel like it's been locked up in the back of my subconscious.
You want to be careful about letting it out. Piece at a time.
Yeah, I guess so. Either way, the answers might be in there, and pokes at their head. Just give it some time. Just so you know, I'm working off as much speculation as the rest of us. But we'll see if that changes. Oh, by the way, the cult's real name, get this, they're called the Beholders of True Beauty.
Ew.
It's a little
Right.
on the nose, isn't it? Or on the eye.
No one ever called them creative.
Wait. Beauty is in the eye of...
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so stupid.
That's something...
Like, just like throws their head back.
That sounds like something I would say.
Not even that.
Go lower.
Wilfred must have thought those. I approached him with a truth game.
Oh.
Oh.
Well then.
And you still didn't get it.
Well, no wonder that Alonso wanted to crush him under his little dress shoe.
Oh.
He wasn't living up to the name.
He didn't behold shit.
And raises their glass like, I'll drink to that.
Weller says that was he beheld a fair bit, but it was like how did you see so much and understand so little?
Yeah.
Horrors beyond comprehension.
Literally.
I guess.
Weller clinks glasses with you quite aggressively and shakes their head.
There's a reason I still call them the Snapdragons, other than doesn't give us away.
Yes, because it's lame.
I think my name is just
it's
better.
Embarrassing. It has a better ring to it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Snappy.
Yes. Oh.
Anyway. Right, so our friends that behold true beauty. The eye thing, I kinda got more than just the whole origin situation from it. I overheard something at the theater all those years ago. I remembered it recently. It seems that the reason they were planting eyes in people was that they were trying to create some sort of host. And I don't know what that means yet. All I know is that someday this emissary, who I don't know who that is yet either, will impart their wisdom on me when I'm ready. Or, whoever became the host just turned out to be me.
That was Mim. Okay, whoever turned out to just turn. Okay. Is there any kind of check?
What do you want to ask? I am here to help.
Yeah. Okay, Willow's musing a bit about this function at the moment.
Yeah,
We're
I
thinking.
Nope. You see that what that insight roll was N is nervous about admitting this to you guys, and you're
my
gonna
God,
turn
yeah.
on them. So now they're looking around for like, okay, are the knives gonna come out now? Are we gonna like?
Oh my God! Please, ye of little faith.
And I think it's like
Willow's.
they've slouched a bit in on themselves.
No, Willow's thinking, and they're going to. Okay, I'll mention to Zeke. I think the things that they're thinking of at the moment is like, what is the function of planting the eyes in people for a beholder? I don't know very much about beholders, but I have been studying aberrations lately. It's not the same. I have gotten an impression that these guys haven't from the symbiont helm, in that Alonzo kind of screamed, so that the helmet would dislodge, and that's like. There's something in that about the, like, I keep referring to the pecking order of this.
Mm-hmm.
I guess what I'm looking for is whether I can glean what the purpose is of these multiple hosts having the eyes implanted in them from a beholder. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get anything on that.
Well, give me an Arcana check. You still have disadvantage because you're exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
10 isn't bad.
Yeah.
Well, the thing that you know that has happened is N, which is N is a warlock. Warlocks are a known quantity in Eberron. Admittedly, N is the strangest one you've ever heard, but you know that there are, say, family lineages of spellcasters that have a warlock patron. Usually this is like a benevolent fae or something like that, or like even a sort of a celestial messenger will have a contract with a family or even like an order. There are sometimes like chivalric orders of warlocks and stuff like that. Admittedly, that's rarer. But usually there will be like a designated patron that will pass on this like gift of magic, and in exchange for this, there will usually be acts of service.
Can I share a thought as well?
Yeah.
One of the things Willow's thinking is, if the beholder is not giving up the eyes willingly, like if that's a thing that we're assuming, is there any like
unknown? So
an unknown, yeah, like a speculation at present. Willow is considering the idea of like, are the people hosting the eyes and like absorbing the world on behalf of the beholder kind of like pacifying it? Are they keeping it asleep to keep
you have
like
no
getting?
idea.
Yeah, that's the kind of thought processes that Willow's.
Yeah, I mean it's something
about.
you can ask N about. At the moment, on your best guess on like a 10 is like, well, you don't know what they're trying to do, but what they have done is create a warlock.
In N or like in general?
Yes, in N.
Yeah.
I was the only survivor, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's unknown
Doesn't know
if
what-
there are any others, or if it's like can you artificially create a warlock without the sort of participation of the patron? Is this a power source? This is maybe the thing that Willow might think of, because that's sort of the way they think of like, is this them trying to develop a new technology of like, okay, well, symbionts are iffy. Can you just jumpstart it?
Yeah.
that shepherd cables to me.
Yeah, that's the best guess you have is like, well, you don't know what they are trying to do, and you're not sure if you could speculate on what their like ultimate goal is. But you know what they have done is create a warlock in N.
Okay. A warlock and like an unknowing or a sleeping patron.
Yeah.
That's kind of the. Willow will say that actually. So a warlock and a sleeping patron is the situation that they have created with you and this tyrant.
Well, that's the interesting thing, right? I've been concerned for a long time that this eye of mine connects me back to something else, be it the Snapdragons or whatever they're worshipping, appeasing, I don't know. And granted, we don't have any way, we being me and the eye, don't have any way to confirm it. I don't think the tyrant itself is necessarily my patron. I think my patron is very much awake. Now, if that was intentional or not, considering I don't think things went down exactly how they intended with me, don't know. I might be an anomaly among anomalies. What I do know is that there hadn't been another host in a very long time before I showed up. At least that's what I overheard. Edmund isn't a host or anything within that category. He's something called an emissary's chosen, and that's why I couldn't read his mind. So obviously being chosen also imbues you with particular perks. I guess I'm slated for those someday.
So your patron's could the patron just be the eye? Sorry, Luca, you talk.
Does it have a name?
The
Are
eye?
you talking out loud?
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
Oh, it's not Ivan.
The thing under Sean.
Oh. I believe we're calling it the Slumbering Tyrants, courtesy of Aggie Eeltongue.
That's not a very friendly name, so.
You go ahead, Luca. Call it Bob for all I care.
I thought. Luca points at you. You could figure something out for this one.
Well, I think I'm gonna call it a problem. Because, aforementioned, I think the connection between me and that thing is... Oh. If I'm being optimistic, I would say it's severed. We have nothing to indicate that we're connected to it right now. It hasn't imparted wisdom on us, which is something else Alonzo alluded to. And the eye says that it is not transmitting anything to any creature beyond me, and I'm willing to believe it.
And if you'd like to roll an Arcana check?
Sure.
Okay,
Nice.
13. I think at most, as you understand it at the moment, is that the eye is offspring of this thing. So there's like a link, but in the way like you are linked to parents, but it's not.
Yeah.
You're not the same organism.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
A
sorry.
child of the slumbering tyrant.
Yeah.
Question to Zeke.
Yeah.
And so we just went through the whole like warlock and patron thing. Like they have made a patron out of this beholder. And N said no, my patron is very much alive. Can I assume that the eye is the patron then? Awake.
That's what N is saying. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
They don't think their patron is asleep under Sharn. They think it's here in their head.
Yes. Okay. So Willow knows that now in the context. Did we know that before, or was this now the first like confirmation of like?
This is the first time we've like explicitly discussed.
Hashed it out. Yeah.
Yeah. Because last time we were unsure if the eye was still connected to a large organism and like not its own thing. But now we know for sure it is its own thing and it's severed.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So that still doesn't dismiss the whole like they are making warlocks thing, but it just changes the method of like it changes the.
It changes the result.
Comes.
It changes
result,
what you know has happened.
Yeah, and that's interesting. If each eye is its own. Okay. Yep.
Certainly the way that this has happened is that the eye has, like, you don't know if this was always going to be the case or not. But you know that the eye has, like, distinguished itself enough and has created enough distance between N and this giant beholder that is, like, buried under Sharn to be essentially its own organism. You know?
Yeah. Cool. Willow's kind of hard staring at N's. You got your eye out, yeah? Yeah.
Probably at this point.
Yeah. Willow's just idly hard staring at it.
Idly.
Nah.
Luca is also kind of staring.
And shrinking a bit because of that nat one earlier, and they're still got their little demons in the back of their brain. But they stay there. They don't flee. Yeah, well, as far as I know, we're not connected to that thing in any valuable way. I don't know how much that's going to hold true when I go back to Sharn.
When?
Well, I can't leave that thing there, and the Snapdragon HQ is also definitely in Sharn. So if I really plan to wipe them off the face of Corvair, then you wipe that smile off your face, Willow Jenkins.
How did you know? I didn't even need to describe it. Oh my god. Yeah.
Yeah, la-di-da. Willow was right about something. That's never happened before.
An incredibly rare occurrence.
My point is, if I get close to that thing, if we are severed, if our connection is severed, if I get close to it, does that mean we'll reconnect? Even more so if we have an emissary here eager to impart her wisdom, I'm assuming Alanis, impart her wisdom upon us.
Luca nods. What? May I be in on the joke?
Willow raises their glass. Some things in this life are inevitable. Like N, returning home. Now with a better plan.
And
To topple the
experience
Snapdragons. Yes.
in popping eyeballs.
It's a little bit better than before. Besides, I'll have help. Sips the drink.
Luca smiles like, yeah, me.
The Eye and I have spoken frequently.
Look at
No.
the plates.
You were right the first time, and I'll say in meta, N is just pretending to divert now. And is saying something incredibly sincere and then pretending they're saying something else.
It's so funny for that Willow just.
If you know, you know.
Luca,
sorry, Luca.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I think seeing Luca deflate N's
Aw,
gonna
shucks.
like elbow Luca's arm as they're talking, like chin up.
You were right
No, I
the
mean
first
you
time.
too.
Yeah, you were right the first time. Anyway, the Eye and I have spoken frequently over the course of the investigation. And-
Aye.
Indeed.
Sorry. Carry on. Yes.
Oh, I think it might be reassuring for everyone to know that we are united in purpose, I suppose. It doesn't seem...
Aye.
That's gonna get old
Oh,
real
this is my
fast.
glass.
Okay, pirate.
Carry on. Pardon me. Carry on.
Luca's like drawing on a piece of paper right now.
Well, the important thing is that it doesn't show any interest in succumbing to the Snapdragon's designs. So though I know that doesn't omit the possibility of powers we can't fight against influencing us, it does mean that the problem is unlikely to occur from inside the house.
Good. That's a relief.
Luca holds up
What
a piece
is-
of paper.
Why is there H-O written on
It's an
the-
eye!
Wait, what?
Hey.
What's happened?
It says hi.
Okay.
Luca just wait. Has Luca just written "ho" and slid it across the table?
It says hi!
Because it's an eyeball.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
get
that's
that
nice. But if
now.
you show that to Willow, they're going to be like, "Whoever passed that paper, your mom's a hoe." All right. So Luca's drawn that eyeball.
And then
Yeah.
held it up to N, but mostly to their eye.
Thank you, Luca.
It wasn't for you.
Willow will. Huh? Is Luca to them? Willow will raise their glass to the eye at this stage. Well, pleasure to have you aboard my boat. Thank you for not exploding N's brains. And
Here.
Luca nods.
and your vows. We've had plenty of those recently, and I would be happy if I never see another exploding eye in my life.
Mm,
Okay, I see a big one. Looks at N.
Oh yes, except for that one.
yeah, that one will be a special case. Its smaller eyes do seem to be like watching Sharn or something, but again, brief vision. Not quite sure how to... I don't know. It might be dreaming of Sharn through those eyes. There's certainly a lot to see.
Yuck.
Well, when you've got that many eyes, that's all you can do, really. Look at things.
I guess.
Huh?
Anyway. I think that...
when you look at
Yeah?
Luca's little statement makes Willow sit a bit like,
Yeah.
like, you have that many eyes.
Yeah, exactly. And
What
it's
do you
moving
do? But
along
look at
from
things,
it.
and Willow's like,
And noticed that and is like, we're gonna move right along.
Once again, Luca doesn't get it.
How could he?
Uh,
Nobody will explain it to him.
Yeah.
He saw the helmet.
Oh. He did not make that connection here, I'm afraid.
Yeah, evidently. I think that about covers it. The eye's been pretty stubborn about the fact that, well, we're not going to turn into a Nothic, and we're not going to become a Snapdragon, and seems on board with taking the fuckers down, so...
Did it come to you stubborn, or did it learn that from you?
I'm pretty sure I've had a substantial influence on this thing. Kind of woke as something of a blank
no.
slate, which is interesting in and of itself.
I'm gonna have 2 ends on my shoulders.
I intend to keep this eye firmly affixed in my skull. So I will be the only one perching atop your shoulder when we get to the high... What is it, like hip-high Karnathi snow?
At least.
And that's your hip, which is pretty much my
Mm.
head.
It's basically your entire body.
Exactly, so I'm gonna need a little bit of assistance.
You and the eye both, I suppose.
But at least we occupy the same body, so just have to piggyback one of us. I promise not to catch on fire while we do it. Unless you ask me
Yeah,
to keep you warm
Yeah,
in the cold
it might be
Carnathy
welcome.
winters. Anyway, speaking of cold Carnathy winters, Luca.
Mm-hmm.
Can I say quickly, while you
Yeah.
guys are bantering about Karnath, I think Willow's picked up Wolfred's sketchbook and is sort of flicking through it a bit slower now because I ran
Mhm.
through it when I was
Yeah.
there.
Mhm.
Just have a slower look at all of the drawings that he's done.
Mhm.
Yeah, just while you guys are making
Shooting the
sillies.
shit.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to say while we're here underneath?
In Karnath?
I was gonna say in the ruins under Sharn, and the ruins in this case happens
Mm.
to be my life. While we're here, do you have anything ruinous to share with the team?
Do you have something in mind?
And makes eyes at you like we talked
Willow,
about.
did you have anything to share first?
Looking for it. Willow's just continuing through the book. You can start.
Well,
You were kidnapped after all.
really, I didn't remember.
Well, that's troubling.
That was a joke.
So was that.
Oh. It's hard to tell with you.
It's a gift. Proceed. Well, one thing I know is that, well, we were looking for Luca after you disappeared. Brina happened to detect some dream lily in the blood you left behind, so if I am to piece together the events myself, then I'm going to have to assume a certain sequence.
What's Willow doing?
Willow is flicking
Looking
through
at the
the
sketchbook.
sketchbook,
Huh.
but they're listening.
While I was on a stakeout, someone who I thought was Miraldine approached me, gave me a drink that was laced with Dream Lily, took me into a back alley, showed me a vision of Dragovich, stabbed me, and then took me to Warfred's basement.
And that's where I found you?
Mhm.
Right. That's terrible, Luca. I'm sorry that happened to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Willow also pauses to listen to you. That's not.
Well, it does confirm that Warfred was able to take on the visage of various people. It was mentioned in the Speak with Dead ritual, and now you're our living proof.
I think there's a there's a long pause on the page that Willow was at where they're sort of looking past it and then they kind of keep turning pages and they'll mention, sorry fish dog wasn't so more useful. I had it
Didn't-
tailing you, but evidently that didn't go very well.
Luca shrugs.
We were up against a real son of a bitch. But at least we know the weapons he used against us. We'll do better to be prepared for that next time.
Luca nods like, yep, that's for sure.
What are the drawings like in this?
So it's his most recent sketchbook, so there's still a lot of blank pages. There's only maybe like a third to a quarter filled out. It's a lot of studies, the kind of things that he would do for his actual job as portrait painter. So anatomy of the face and head. You did glimpse a brief list of like some of the names of the staff who worked at the auction hall. But I think the thing that is like most egregious to you is the sketches of Tarek's death scene. They're not like very detailed sketches either. They're sort of rough and gestural.
Yeah. If N sees that, they're definitely going to be glancing at Willow just to see how Willow's taking that.
They're just looking at it. I can kind of imagine too, like it's the turning pages and it's like, studies, sketches, and then just like you keep turning pages and the Tarek thing is like recurring. Like even in different angles or like perspective, or is it just one?
I think there's like a couple.
A couple.
But they are kind of like bunched together.
And then the separate sketches, I believe he did on loose paper of my head and the other Tarek sketch.
Yeah.
Which I pocketed.
Yeah. Again, maybe sees not the full sketch, but bits and pieces.
Yeah.
Those sketches are sort of still tucked away in my journal, so don't worry about it. But yeah.
Is there anything from your appointments or the basement? I was kind of stuck in a corner, beating the heck out of Alonzo at the time. I didn't see much of the basement that you wanted to talk about, Willow?
Well, there's the general details. He was mining cinnabar beneath his house.
Explains where he
Which
got
is
the
pigment
mercury.
and poison, and also affects the person using it, so similarly to this helm, I suppose.
The theme with the guy.
If anybody would like to make a history check.
Can I make another one?
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
Just while I'm idly talking.
Does anybody else want to make one?
Give it a shot.
Yeah, I'll give it a shot.
Oh.
Wow. Look at us. History buffs here.
So Willow, you are thinking about this more, and you are thinking about this in the conjunction with like Warford being dwarf from the Moror Holds and stuff like that. Obviously, his father owned a mine. A thing you remember about dwarves is like, in addition to being resistant to poison, they will sometimes ingest things that would be considered very poisonous to other humanoids for fun, much in the same way that like you can get alcohol poisoning, but like just a little bit will be a buzz. There's stuff like sugar of lead and like stuff that would be very, very harmful to other humanoids that dwarves can ingest without a problem.
I'm vaguely remembering. The history that I'm recalling actually is Willow getting plastered trying to keep up drinking with Bruno.
Would have happened very
like
quickly.
That kind of like inherent tolerance. But like no,
Yeah.
now I'm remembering a history specifically of like dwarves like licking cinnabar for the hype of it.
For the flavor.
Yeah. Right. That's fun to know.
Painters.
Yeah. I don't know if on a 13 you know anything specifically about cinnabar, but you know stuff like sugar of lead is a real thing in real life that the ancient Romans used to sweeten their wine, and obviously it did poison them. Because the ancient Romans were not dwarves.
Really?
What?
That we know of. Yeah.
Yep,
Okay.
sugar of lead is a real substance that does genuinely taste sweet.
Dude, I'd lick that instantly. Please
Why
keep
is
me
so
away
many
from
poisons
Please don't.
sweet? Like,
to tempt you to
To
lick
get
them.
you.
Anyway,
yeah.
A lot
To
of
make
them
it-
are also deeply bitter, so
yeah, like coffee. Good reference. Anyway, so yeah, Willow's thinking about that. So what the conclusion I come from that is that Warfred could not only have been like Warfred could have
high
been
off his own
willingly,
supply.
happily in the
could have been doing it on purpose, could have been ingesting this poison on purpose.
yeah. Cool. Idiot. No, okay. And it can be like relatively harmless to dwarves because that's just their whiskey of choice.
Yeah.
Rocks. Okay.
Oh my
yeah,
god, they're
that's
the
fair.
Gorons.
Yeah, I was just thinking of that. Willow will probably continue to say a lot of the other information I found out about him was actually not during our appointments. It was out and about, or in the aftermath, where Audrey read his mind after Alonso had plucked it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Annoying.
Alonso really took a whisk to his brain.
Annoying to the
Yes.
end, that one.
Yes. So, as for what I learnt during the appointment, so I certainly. Oh. Willow just trails off and then looks at you both and says, I don't know.
Oh. We know that he was capable of certain kinds of magic.
Yes, I have the spell list. It was related to his helm.
Mm-hmm.
He was capable of magic on his own as well, but again, that is information I found out after the fact. As for what I uncovered from being in the actual residence, other than first-hand experience with one of those spells, he lied for most of it, and the rest of it was the stuff that you could observe from a distance, so ultimately fruitless.
I don't know about that. Observed from a distance? Even Brina took convincing.
Most of the information I found out there, I've currently learned that you guys found out in another way anyway, so
I wouldn't be so sure of that.
I won't ask you to convince me. It's not a matter of that. I'm just
Well, thank you for attending those appointments, even if they felt fruitless to you. You did put yourself on the front lines. And I'd assure that Warfred didn't go after anyone else and that he'd stayed in one place and...
When N says that, though, Willow glances at Luca. Like, they don't want to cut N off mid-comforting, but he did go after someone else.
Well, that was a very special case. You know what I'm talking
Willow
about.
didn't say that out loud.
Yeah, no, and
Willow didn't
seeing
say
the
that
way
out
you're
loud,
looking
like-
at Luca. That was a special case. We were knowingly putting the pressure on him. That was part of the risk we took. He was a cornered animal at that point. In part
I'm aware.
because of you. So I don't really care how you feel about it, Olo Jenkins. Thank you for doing it regardless of what your goal was and what your intentions were. Thank you for stealing the pin. Thank you for letting me destroy it. Thank you for giving me an angle with which I could apply to the Metanoia detective so that we got this guy off the streets. And hey, made a fancy profit off of Alonso too, so... and sips their drink.
Luca didn't get very much out of his insight check. Well, I could fail. Actually, let me try.
Yeah.
You
Go.
really could, but
Go.
Yeah, I could hella fail.
There
And
it is!
I
I'm rolling one of
you
these.
did.
And you
And
did!
I just keep failing. Okay. So, what you get out of that?
Good God.
Willow
this game.
feels like they went into this perilous, awful scenario, and while they took a gamble and they were prepared to take that gamble, they were not prepared for how empty-handed they would feel coming away from it. In that Luca got hurt, that whole thing went to shit in the final moments. Their soft approach meant that they didn't actually learn the things that they wanted to from conversation. He lied through most of it. They didn't have the chance to find out his history with the Snapdragons, which was like the main thing that they wanted to get from him. Like, how did you get into the cult? What did the pin mean? How did you, like, who invited you? What have you been doing in relation to the cult this whole time? And can I tie you back to Alonso and Edmund Beckett so that we can, like, blacklist them from Regalport? No. It's like a big failure feeling of, like, what did I do that for if it wasn't going to reap any rewards that you guys couldn't have found in other more interesting ways or other easier ways, you know? Why exactly am I now tormented by this thing that has reaped, like, no benefits? It's just, that's the vibe at the moment.
And they're not hearing anything.
It's
They're
part of the
hearing it, but
problems-
I think it's that, like, even so,
Yeah.
even if you all of your thanks does not really help their sense of frustration with themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not even not here. Like, they hear it. Part of them feels like the last person they want to be reassuring them of, like, no, I don't feel bad, Widow, is N, for whom this situation is much worse. It's like, I was gonna say, like, it's not like they have one experience now with the Snapdragon. This is N's entire life kind of thing, you know? It's are they really gonna dip into that pool for comfort? You know, that's kind of not. It's not something that one person can fix with words.
Yeah.
And it's not even a thing that, like, people can fix. It's just like, this is a looming problem now. Their last conversation with Warfred was so defeated.
Yeah. I saw
And
that.
like, yeah, you were there for that. And
Mhm.
also, like, the one thing that Willow didn't want to do, let Audrey read his mind. And it's kind of like, if that was going to be the case, if all N needed to do was read his mind, then why did I subject myself to him like 5 times? Like, you know? Even if this doesn't make sense, like, Mim can see, Willow is just like,
Yeah.
I don't know what I got out of any of that. That was all useless, and I don't have any sense of satisfaction, any sense of victory. It's just like, that happened and it sucked, and now I'm stuck with the leftovers. Leftover feelings, not you guys. I'm glad that you guys are leftovers. I'm glad that
I'm
you
used
guys
to this
didn't die,
feeling.
but- No, fuck
Tasty
off!
leftover ham.
Oh man. Well, I doesn't want to say any of this out loud too, because it's like, I'm ungrateful about the fact that we all lived. It's like, no, it's just, what was the point of anything? What's the point of doing things? Like, it's,
Well,
ugh.
En's
What's the
gonna,
point of doing it if I didn't win?
En's gonna top up the glasses if any of them are empty and hold them up.
I think Lucas hasn't needed to be topped
Yeah.
up. I'll
that's
just
fair.
point that out.
Willow's then, and En's probably. And hold up
Yeah.
their glass. Sometimes it just sucks. That's to Luca too, because you got kidnapped.
Willow will clink their glass.
I would like N and Willow to both make Constitution saving throws for how much the whiskey is hitting ya.
Mm-hmm.
Luca, you're still on your first glass, so you're good.
You're good.
Yeah.
Do I have disadvantage on this?
No,
Yes.
this is
No?
a this is a save, not an ability check.
Ah.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
You can
The
hold
anger
this.
is keeping you
I
sober.
feel like N has probably been drinking more because they're enjoying it, like, thoroughly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah, whereas Willow
Damn,
maybe
that's
less of a whiskey connoisseur than some people here.
I think Wisco's mainly Wisco.
Wisco. My favorite singer!
That's so the thong song by Wisco.
Yep.
Everon Cisco. Anyway, okay, yes, all right. Willow has been mainly sniffing it, is what I'm saying. Willow has just been mainly smelling the whiskey,
Mhm.
topping it up. It's just like sip, sip.
Yeah.
Like Wolfred and Cinnabar. God. Yeah, sip, sip. Ugh.
So he even draw you nice, or like, was he really terrible at that too?
Yeah, Willow's gonna slap out the sketch he did.
Oh, well,
Flatten the
this.
table in between everybody.
Oh, that's already inaccurate. I know your brain is much larger than that. I can't even see it.
Oh, he had a.
Luca looks quietly horrified.
And he's like leaned right in and starting like pretending to try and see where the brain is.
Yeah, he had some interesting takes.
Oh, I'm sure he
Slowly
did.
slides his piece of hoe paper over the.
Wait, I think I see your brain now.
Willow doesn't know what to say. It's so stupid.
He's not a very good artist.
Yeah, well, we
He's
gathered
technically
that.
a very good artist, but not in the sense of being able to interpret anything correctly.
One could say he wasn't beholding the true beauty of the situation.
No, not at all. In fact, he said something during our fight that implied that I. Can I revisit this, Zeke? He said something about like, "You ready to see another friend die?" Has Willow been able to pass what he meant by that?
Make a flat intelligence roll. Straight.
With disadvantage?
No,
Oh, okay.
no, just straight.
Like Willow. But
Oh, that's all right.
You can definitely pick up the implication that he thought that you had left friends to die.
Like Damon.
Scarlet Princes.
Sorry.
Lewis, what the hell do you mean by that, Rom?
I mean, Damon also like has a history of losing servants or
right.
whatever.
People die.
Yes.
That's the joke.
Down as friends. Anyway, yeah, Willow's going to mention. Besides, I think after he dug around in my mind, and I don't think I told you guys, he read my mind and then modified my memory so that I forgot it. Yes, so that's
And
that.
it's a whistle.
But not at night. Willow will say, so I believe that he actually misinterpreted the events of my past and tried to threaten me with.
Oh, that's impressive. No, I take it back. No, that's an impressive man. Hilton, let me get this straight. He actually read your thoughts and he still didn't have a clue. I've been using this power for, 2 months now? Wow. Just when you think you're a beginner, look around you. There's always someone less qualified doing the job.
Truly bigger idiots than you have done it.
Yeah.
Imposter syndrome? No.
Yeah. Get that shit out of here.
Yeah, he didn't actually. I didn't even get to be like, oh, you were a cog in the machine, because he didn't know he was a part of the machine at all. Just throws her head back and like yells.
Yeah.
So he read your mind and he still drew this.
He missed the whole thing. took a wrong turn and went out the ear.
Well, they are big, so it is easy to walk out.
Like double doors. Big fuzzy double doors.
I'm gonna ask, like, was there a purpose behind it being hollowed out?
The way it is done is that, like, you are supposed to... The intent is for the viewer to place their eye up to your eye and look into the hollow area. Like looking into a kaleidoscope or looking into, like, a magic eye illusion. Where there was supposed to be something put in there.
Yeah.
It was a place to put things. And the sketch that the sketch is of, like, the outer shell, basically.
Yeah, Willow's going to explain in Wilfred's defense, which it was unfinished. I do believe he had some intention to let the people see the world through my eyes, which includes wearing me like a mask, I assume. I don't know.
I guess he has a lot of experience with that.
Yes. Distinctly.
Well, still, he's throwing away a lot of good material to get there, and I feel like, considering he's such a subpar artist, what he would have put in its place would hardly match the real thing.
Yeah, what can I say? No one gets me. That was kind of jokingly towards you guys as well. Or maybe Anne specifically, since Anne seems to get Willow a bit.
Yeah.
Luca slides this into the space.
There's appears to be a Luca.
Why do you have
where Willow's brain.
Why do you have seagulls on your arms?
Those are my muscles.
Oh, I thought they were loaves of bread. I've seen you carry those trays of bread when it also makes multiple loaves like that.
Yeah. But no, these are my muscles.
To add to it.
Manifest, I guess. Oh, there we go.
Adds your breasts and your ass. Puts it back.
Oh yeah, now I recognize it.
But you agree you're thinking of it. So, who's the winner here? It's me. Willow Jenkins is thinking
it
of
off
me.
the table.
People all gotten our special note paper from Luca today. Oh, and abs.
Is that Mim laughing, or is Willow, like, losing it now?
Mim laughed, sorry, because I snorted as well. Willow's not laughing, they just let that flutter to the floor.
Oh.
They'll blow on it. Like, they'll, like, you know when you blow on a piece of paper to, like, send it off the table?
Yeah.
There he goes.
So long, brave soldier.
No, Willow's laughing. Might as well do this now. Willow's going to. Is that the kind of end of, like, the unpacking? Are we into goofing?
I think
now?
so, and has certainly transitioned into goofing.
Yes. Okay. Willow's going to walk over to where they kept the freaking Varys note, and come back.
Yeah.
And slam it on the table, and say, "A message from our favorite captain."
Oh, captain of the odds and ends.
That's the one.
Okay.
Aye.
Willow's going to, before they open it, with a little bit of fanfare, they're going to say, "In this letter, our fine captain may be telling me that my former crew is back in town, and I will need to run faster than I expected, or otherwise face my demons, or whatever it is, but..."
Well, it's a good thing you have a ship with an elemental on it.
Yeah, we can go real fast. I can tell it that we need to move double time. Just let me know.
I was trying to build to something. Willow's just going to open it now.
Okay.
You guys can't stop talking.
I'll read it out in the voice of Varys Greenleaf, who is not here.
Our beloved. Rom, can you put his sprite up?
Yes.
Just for the... Thank you.
Okay. So, you read the letter, Willow, and it says, Dear Willow, I hope this letter finds you well. We haven't spoken in a few weeks, so I thought I'd write you to say hello. I have slowly been catching up on the events of the world, in between training and helping to care for my niece's children. Her husband, my nephew-in-law, has returned for a month of leave, and I thought it would be kind to let the couple have some quality time to themselves. Have you heard about the scandal that happened in Regalport? There was an attack on an event that the High Prince Ryger was attending a few weeks ago, but it seems to have resolved now with the High Prince none the worse for wear. I should be meeting with him again soon, and will let you know if there is any pressing news. All my best to you and your friends, Varys Greenleaf.
Aw.
Aww.
Aw.
Very
Okay.
anticlimactic letter.
Yeah.
I think Anne's
Well,
smirking when he brought up the scandal.
I don't think, Willow didn't read it out loud. I think when they checked it and they skimmed it, sorry, that was all in Willow's head. Willow did all that fanfare and then silently stood there and like,
I'll patiently wait then.
Yeah.
yeah, but you see like Willow looking over it, like skimming over it, they see no mention of anything like drastic, and then they go through it again slowly and realize it's just a nice letter.
Yeah.
From a friend.
Updating me on his funny little life. And there was actually nothing to fear in it at all.
So is there a murder in Now Horizon? Luca says, kind of seeming to understand that Willow has relaxed a little bit, so probably not.
Willow kind of turns the letter over and then
That's it.
that's it.
Wow.
Yep, say, no, he's just saying hi.
Oh, keeping up with the news too.
Yeah, I imagine Willow gave it to N so that you know what.
Yeah.
Did you hear
Yeah.
about a scandal while we were in Regalport?
No, I've had my head in the sand the entire time.
Hmm.
Don't have a clue what he's talking about. But, he's a ex-sea dragon or a reform. He's returned to the sea dragons now. So, he obviously is going to know all about the goings-on in Regalport. Good to know he's doing alright.
I think the letter finds its way around, like you two.
Yeah.
While you guys are talking.
Yeah.
Willow's just been kind of standing there and like tipping their head this way and that. And then when they like look at it again, it's
Rolling very good today.
it's okay.
It's the depression.
Yeah.
It happens.
No, it's weirdly settling to know that he's just kind of checking in.
Hmm.
And I feel like it kind of catches up with Willow, the idea that they just kind of ripped this letter open with you guys here too. Like something something Willow themselves might have postponed for days longer has turned out to be not only easy to do with you guys around, but also harmless.
I'm gonna eat
Actually.
that for the rest of my life.
Yeah. And just smiling, making quips. Smiles at Willow sometimes. Nursing their drink. Very comfortable, jovial.
Yeah. I think you
Yeah,
spot
I think-
N licking their lips and like really savoring that whiskey.
Yeah.
I feel like it's the first moment Willow's kind of stood back from this and sort of seen like the boat has their friends in it.
Yeah.
and like carrying on and stuff.
Sorry,
and
what did
this
you
is
call
a
me?
letter. This is a letter from a friend in the presence of
3
friends.
friends.
That's like so many minimum. You know, being back on the boat too is like last time we were here, it was friendly times. Coming back on the Jenny, and this ain't the same as last night, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I feel like this is an anchoring moment for Willow. They're like, oh, things are bad, and they will get worse, but this is nice, actually.
Yeah. It is nice.
I think we flash forward to like when, after
Later.
like much goofing and like
I think N
tidying up
falls
your
asleep.
glasses.
If you want.
Yeah.
And drinking that whiskey, so
and dozes off on the table.
yeah. I would say that
we can probably
I would say
Wrong
that
first.
before, as we get further into the goofing and setting aside all the serious talk in the letter, and probably is going to challenge you guys to a game of cards.
Oh,
So we're going to play a couple of games
cute.
before they pass
I
out.
kind of imagine. Yes, I can also kind of imagine like if you guys wanted to say hi to the elemental,
Oh yeah,
you know,
and would want to say
like
hi
you could also go
absolutely would have.
downstairs. Yeah, I think after Willow has that dawning like anchoring moment, they're going to sort of remember like, you know, this is a boat that we built, kind of. So like actually, you know, go speak to the elemental.
Yeah.
So we're gonna like montage around the boat as we kind of like sip
Yeah.
this exorbitant whiskey and
Yeah.
reintroduce yourself to the boat and the feeling
Yep.
of home. And so N can fall asleep on the couch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And says hi to the elemental, has a one-sided chat with it.
Yeah.
Talks about,
How's
oh,
the
you
weather?"
would not imagine the week I've had.
It's just Willow at their workshop, like listening to N have this one-sided phone conversation with an elemental.
Yeah. And then, yeah, not drunk, but definitely a bit tipsy at this point.
It's the sort of like, I have just had a big meal and alcohol, and it's the end of the day, and zzz.
Yeah. They're like so happily just chattering to the elemental in that tipsy way
Aw.
that you can hear them and their voice kind of bubbles through the ship as they're talking.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, they shuffle on over to the sofa, and like, I'm just gonna rest my eye and my other eye for a minute, and then fall asleep.
Okay, well, Luca.
They're
If you want.
they're very strange sometimes, aren't they?
It's N. All the time.
Where are we?
Downstairs. I imagine I'm behind the workbench and you are on the other side of the
Sexily
workbench.
leaning over it.
If you want to be. Oh, we can move down the map, actually. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
we got the map out, we might as well utilize it.
Yeah.
Goodbye, fish dog. You're not here. Oh.
My baby little boy.
But Willow might have brought his carcass downstairs.
Oh,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Put it in the workbench where it needs to
Yeah.
be. The lantern is also down here, set to the
Yeah.
side, waiting to be worked on.
Yes.
So he died protecting me? Or trying to?
Valiantly.
What a good little guy. Are you going to fix him?
Willow nods.
For what it's worth, if everything had played out the same, but you hadn't spent weeks building a rapport, I probably wouldn't be here right now. And as selfish as it is, that means a lot to me. And I think it means a lot to N too. And because of you, I get to continue my oath. So, thank you. I can leave the conversation now if you'd like.
Willow doesn't laugh. That's Mim laughing. Willow does like a little laugh, like an awkward one, but I think that actually reminds him, yeah, that isn't wrong. Kind of?
No.
That's not
No.
wrong, right?
No, if everything had played
That's
out the
fair.
same, sans Willow, very good chance Luke could die that night.
Yeah.
Just not in front of them.
But I also saved your life when you were right in front of me.
Yeah.
That too.
Yeah.
Both of those things.
That's the main part where I'm like, oh yeah, actually Willow has a very tangible moment of being like, no, I saved Luca's life.
Yep. He was baiting
And
you into fighting him, and by threatening your friend's life, and you very much went, nah, I'm gonna save my friend.
I don't think Luca knows that much, but
But it still reminds
fact,
Willow of
yeah.
that moment.
You kind of accidentally stumbled upon the oh yeah kind of moment. like I can't actually deny that it was right in front of me. After a prolonged pause of I think that kind of did something. Willow will add yes, well, I'm glad as well.
Luca gives them a genuine smile and a little nod.
Stop it. I feel like Luca's got that genuine smile that feels like you look directly into the sun, but in a nice way. And I have like UV resistant light, so I can stare directly into the sun and just be dazzled by it. You know what I mean? So like, did I say sunlights? Sunglasses. Anyway, whatever I said, Willow's gonna accept that and get to work, basically as a reason to not have to be confronted by your face. And your extreme gratitude and the legitness of like what you said.
The Ho-Abs himself.
The Ho-Abs has made a point and it's landed and he was cute about it. Yikes. That's kind of like a triple whammy. And then you've like opened the floodgates of like, maybe I'm just maybe I have missed all the obvious, like, you know, like, it's immediately.
Oh, actually, I did.
Please put a pin in that. Oh, put a pin in that,
What?
bitch!
What? Put a pin in what?
Just the pin has been put.
I don't know where.
Maybe I have missed the obvious. Remember that, bitch.
Okay. All right. Honestly, I think Willow's got that energy of like after Luca sends off his little like ha 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 smile, Doki freaking sparkles everywhere. You know, Willow's got that like, wow, I suddenly remembered I need to hang up hooks on my walls, like that kind of energy. Like I'm just gonna
It's
make
like,
myself busy
I
with
better
literally
go
anything
clean.
else. Yeah.
It's like, oh wow, I really should clean up my workshop. I need to reorganize all of my tools immediately.
Yes, I need to dust my screwdriver right now.
Fidgets.
Cool. Yeah, cool. Yep, so Luca, go just hoist your ass into one of those hammocks and go the fuck to sleep, please.
Either that or
Come to bed
hoist
soon.
N over your shoulder and take them back to the poppy.
No,
No, I think we'll stay here.
Okay.
N wants to stay here. That's why N passed out on the sofa. Like if they had their
Yeah, I felt you were.
if they had a choice, they would not be moved.
Yep. Well then.
Yeah.
Luca will say, "Come to bed soon."
Oh my god, shut the fuck up. Bula says in their head. Well, yeah, you just go to bed.
Yeah.
And I think he will enjoy listening to Willow putter around, trying to place
Deal with their
themselves in a
feelings.
feeling.
Maybe you find
Yeah, I
Luca's
don't think-
lantern back there.
Mm.
Yeah. What are you saying, Zeke?
I think Luca doesn't need to roll to know that, like, you know what it's like when people have been dazzled by you and are flustered about it.
Shut up!
Nice.
That's so
I think it's also
embarrassing,
because,
Zeke!
like, I think it's also because, like, Willow, you're really not that good of an actor, and like Luca has seen you flustered a few times now. I think he's learned to read the like. That was very nice. I don't know how to continue this interaction. Work.
Yeah, I feel like this is a
You
moment
better
for
work,
Luca
bitch.
understanding Willow and how to operate around them. And
Yeah,
that's
that's
why
it.
he's happy for the moment.
Yeah.
Because earlier I was like, no one gets me, but maybe N. And then now, like, as a threat, and Luca!
Maybe we're your crew.
Maybe you're my crew.
Sleeping in your hammocks.
On your boat.
I'm inching my way into you, as one would say.
Oh my fucking God.
You can't phrase it like that, friend. You can't do that.
Stop talking. You did good. Anyway,
Yeah.
I honestly, okay, so yeah, the thrumming willow is working. Probably the elemental door is open, so that kind of nice blue glow, hummy, watery noise is coming from there, and
Yeah.
you guys are
It's
in my
just
boat,
sort
and it's
of-
feeling nice.
Yeah.
Huh.
We fade out on that image, the little cozy light of the scrap bucket bobbing in the harbor with the warmth of friendship inside it.